Hello, everyone. This is the Easy Allies podcast. I'm Kyle Bosman, the Dark Prince of Nerd Media. Joining us this week, Michael Damiani.
Hello, everyone.
Michael Huber.
Hello, everyone.
Brandon Jones.
Chodon.
And making this all happen, Ian Hink.
Hello, everyone.
Choda, as you will.
One of these intros wasn't like the other.
Last week's corrections. Begin corrections music, please. The 8th slot of EVO's Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Invitational is actually open to the public. They're having a tournament just to get into that 8th slot.
That is the best.
Yeah.
Love stuff like that.
So one 14-year-old could get in.
That's a movie.
Yes.
It's like
Oh,
a
one
poker
of the-
tournament. You win a free
you mean
roll,
one of the
get
Marvel-
in.
Yeah.
One of the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 spots?
Yep.
Oh, awesome. That's pretty cool.
That is cool. All right, so Halo is with Mega Constructs, formerly Mega Blocks. Mega Blocks are now called Mega Constructs.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Mario was with Connects previously.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And then Pokemon is with Mega Constructs.
Mega Bloks is such a better name. That's got to be like it was confused with something else, and so they just wanted to
They
avoid
wanted
that.
to be more mature. I think they wanted to differentiate themselves.
Constructs is a more endless possibilities more than blocks.
Yeah.
Blocks, you think like Legos. Blocks, you're building blocks.
Yes.
Well, they for sure wanted to be more mature because that's when they added all those blood decals too.
Yeah.
And I want to make it clear, I don't know if my pronunciation did it justice. It ends with an X.
Ah.
Constructs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So edgy.
Constructs.
Very
And so did
Nice.
Blocks, right?
Constructs. Ideally blocks it as well, yeah. Toei's only involvement with Chrono Trigger was making the anime cutscenes in the PlayStation 1 version. A lot of people spreading misinformation that Bowser Jr. is Bowser's son, but in the bad ending of New Super Luigi U Deluxe, it's heavily implied that Bowser Jr. is just a reptilian golem Kamek conjured to make Bowser seem like a more compassionate leader. Luigi famously kills Kamek before he finishes that explanation, but I think it's more than enough evidence to support my hypothesis, and considering there is no evident birth mother, I refuse to believe anything else. Google Kamek is the father. Do yourself a favor, educate yourself, and then come back to me with corrections. And correction music, please.
Wow.
Wow.
I learned something new today.
Yeah.
And that's the bad ending?
Yeah, that was...
Wow. Multiple endings.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Speaking of bad ending, I got some bad news for listeners of this podcast. I only got 5 more regular podcasts, including this one, and then 1 handoff with Jonesy.
Kind of down.
Yeah, I'm leaving. I'm leaving Easy Allies and Los Angeles. Already getting a little choked up, even just saying that right now. That sucks. But anyway, running low on these. So we do have a new opening segment. It's called Best Last Lines. So I feel like last lines of video games. Go ahead, Jonesy.
Our club isn't doing well right now.
We closed the club.
We had to close.
We closed the club. Let's just be real. We had to close it.
Yeah.
It was the right thing to do.
Right. Right.
Also, there were some murders.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Some?
Oh, yeah. Like the Soul Edge.
If you've been following.
Oh, yeah.
the
Soul Edge
lore.
probably.
Some murders
alone.
occurred.
People have died.
You know, you hear last lines of books, last lines of movies, you know, video games, last lines aren't celebrated enough. So I asked our patrons to come up with some last lines. I'm going to use the best last line as my last line on this podcast.
Oh, okay.
So the stakes are high. What I'm going to do is I'm going to present you with some last lines.
Cool.
You have to choose the most memorable.
Okay.
This is a depressing opening bit.
That's where he's going to steer this for the next 4 weeks.
Get ready.
Yeah.
I'm going
Brace
for tear
yourself.
jerkers.
Nice.
Here's the thing. I was going to present you with 2, like bouncers. We got a lot of really good submissions.
Okay.
So wait, these are invented by the patrons, not taken from real games?
They're taken from real games. That's what makes them so good.
But brought in from patrons. Okay.
From patrons,
Okay.
yes. They've selected them.
It's time to take out Umbrella.
Great one.
Yeah. RE4 is one of my least favorite endings of any video game.
Wait, I got a great RE4 one actually. That's one of the ones I picked. So let's do 4. Let's do 4. Well, no. Let's do 3. I do think we're gonna run out by the 5th week. So let's do 3.
Okay.
Let's do
You
3.
mean
Okay.
do 3,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So let's do the RE4 one. This is from Cabbage Lad. She's like a part of me I can't let go. Let's leave it at that.
That line makes no sense.
No sense.
What?
Like,
know
even in the context, I'm
what
like,
Leon's
he
talking
barely
about.
knows Ada. He's talking about Ada.
Yeah.
But he's only met her like once at that point, right? In
No.
2?
Is this the remake?
This is RE4.
This is in RE4.
Second encounter.
Yeah.
His only other experience with her was in Resident Evil 2, unless don't know about the manga or something.
They went through some things though.
Yeah, I think
but like trauma bonding is not, a successful relationship is not based on trauma.
Yeah, I saw Speed.
right. He's just obsessed though. He got turned on.
Yeah, he's like perving on her.
Yeah.
I wish they would just admit
Which,
that.
to be fair, I mean, she's
I
great.
don't know about that.
So I don't think he's perving on her. I truly think that
I don't think he's perving on her
he
either.
thinks that he can have a successful relationship with Ada. Obviously they can't, but I think he wants it.
I think he's willing to try probably, but she probably isn't interested.
Yeah, she clearly is not.
It's very
Yeah.
complicated.
Very
Huber,
complicated.
jump in here. Bail us out.
It's complicated.
Explain this to us.
I mean, by the end of 4-2, they've gone through some things. So if you count the point at which he says this, they will have gone through 2 and 4. It's a lot of.
Regardless,
It's a lot of like an intense situation with a person, and
He doesn't have many friends.
they have a bond.
Yeah,
they
he
have a
does not
complicated
have
bond.
many
He does not
friends.
have many friends.
Well, I think he was just babysitting Ashley so much, and then having a competent agent like Ada come along, just has a more fun time with her.
so
Well,
what's
it's
funny
like
is
the only adult woman he knows.
someone also sent the other last line, which is after the credits. He's calling that woman. He's like, "Hey, you
Hunnigan?
look pretty
Hunnigan,
good without
yeah.
glasses."
So dumb.
And she's like, "Leon, get back to work." He's like, "Story of my life." So "Story of my life" is the true last line of RE4.
Right.
But yeah, you can choose post credits or before the credits. I don't mind.
So cheese.
I just
of
think
my
it's
life.
really weird to end that game talking about Ada. Because it's like, that's not the most important element of that game. you
Well,
know?
I think right before that, Ashley
Like
proposes.
hits on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, young girl.
Yeah. Isn't she like 15?
I'm
or
saving myself for Ada." All right,
that ending.
from Evan 11.
know.
You know what? Let me give you the line first. Let me see if you even know this one. Consider yourself a hero. Contra.
Wow.
Nice.
I like that.
That's a really good
Consider
The OG?
yourself a
after the Red
hero.
Falcon dialogue. Yeah.
You did it.
I love that.
Nice.
Let's see if you can guess this one.
That's a really good one.
Come on, let's go home to the planet as cool and blue as me. Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog.
What?
That's winning right there.
Toe Jam and Earl.
Sorry. That's the winner.
Wow. I vote that one. I vote that
Who
one.
says
I was
vote?
gonna say,
I don't even know.
consider yourself a hero.
Yeah.
Was in the lead, but
Planet like
Come on now.
me.
that's why you picked 3.
So that's from Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Man,
That one's going to take this whole show.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
It's,
that is
it's tough to
winning.
beat.
Hey, I think Leon would bring it up too, though, because at that point, 1 minute prior, she betrays him. Ada does.
True, true.
She takes the virus and runs. So
Yeah.
obviously, they're gonna have a conversation like, "What the hell just happened?"
He said, "Let's leave it at that." He
Yeah.
knows it's
Yeah.
complicated.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. One more. This is from Max His Shame Terman. Now I am at rest, understanding that in books and ages and life, the ending can never truly be written.
Whoa.
Alan Wake.
No? Ian, you got this one, maybe?
Guess, Jones.
Yeah.
Man.
No, I just liked it.
This is from Riven, the sequel to
Oh,
Myst.
damn. That makes total sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah,
Does
it's a good,
Alan-
honestly good quote.
Does Alan Wake end with the ocean line?
Yes, I guarantee.
That's how it ends?
I guarantee it ends with the same line it starts with. Like, lock it in.
Should I look that up?
Maybe.
Wait, someone might submit it.
So
Yeah.
I won't pick it if you submit that. Okay, so which of those 4 was the most?
Shadow,
Too much
dude.
Shadow.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
It's over.
All right.
Yeah, locked it.
So
In the-
moving forward, in the pool will be, come on, let's go home to the planet as cool and blue as me. Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog.
In the dream, it's an ocean, but in reality, it's a lake.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I think it starts and ends with that same line. Also hate any song that does that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Isn't that like the motif of like the basics of good storytelling is like you represent the opening and the ending?
And it has
All
a new
comes
context.
full
yeah,
circle.
but-
Context,
so it's just
yeah.
you have the new
Lucas
context
storytelling.
part. So do you think the line has new context by that part?
He'd kill us if he had the chance.
What is that song?
It's from a movie.
Oh, okay. No, what am I thinking of? It's like, I don't mind spending every day out in the corner in the pouring rain. So that song ends with the same line that it starts with. Can't think of it. But no, you don't have more context.
I love how you know it does. You remember being hurt and frustrated.
Yeah, exactly.
Your brain didn't allow you to
So does
grasp
Louie
the sentence
Louie.
itself.
She Will Be Loved by Maroon 5?
Yeah, that's the song. What is the line that it starts with?
I don't mind spending every day out on your corner in the pouring rain.
Oh.
No, wait. No, sorry. It was showing me not the beginning.
Okay.
Beauty queen of only 18, she had some trouble with herself. He was always there to help her, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, I don't know if it ends with that
No,
line.
it ends with, please don't try so hard to say goodbye.
Oh, okay. You know what, Adam Levine? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Redeemed.
It's a long bit.
Redeemed.
Yep. That song still sucks.
I mean, Maroon 5 is pretty weird.
Okay. It's a weird podcast to be goofing around for so long because this is a huge next gen podcast.
Yeah.
In fact, let's join our favorite segment. When's next gen?
What?
Wrong. That's not it. That's not it. All right. You know what?
Well,
Generation.
What's the last line of that song?
Generation. Okay. So, this would have been GDC. This week would have been GDC. This was the week that GDC was scheduled, and so both the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 had detailed their specs, baby, cold hard specs. And that's where I want to start with, because that's just the most numbers and math science we have right now. Oh boy, but I mean I don't know what any of this means. So let's look at RAM, for instance. They both have 16 gigabytes of RAM, right? Hey, that seems equal. Sure.
16.
16.
Yeah, 16. Nice. So the way that works for the PlayStation 5 is that's 448 gigabytes per second. Okay, that's cool. All right. Xbox? Hey, 10 of that 16 is 560 gigabytes per second. Ooh. 6 is at 335 gigabytes per second. So most of it is more, and then some of it is less. Don't bother explaining it to me. Let's talk about CPUs, brothers.
All right, brother. Yeah.
So,
Hang on, I just want to say, like, it's stuff like this that makes consoles really funny, because I was just talking with Omar about our RAM on our editing PCs at home.
Yeah.
He's got 16, I've got 32, and both of us feel like we have way too little.
oh, you know what? I should have said what kind of. Did I say GDDR6?
You did not say that.
Okay, I think
6,
that is
yeah, that's
important. The
different.
type of
Yeah.
RAM that it is important. Excuse
That's
me for
true.
not. Yeah. All right, CPUs. We're both talking about 8 Zen 2 cores. However, Ian, we'll definitely get to that. Don't worry about that.
Okay, cool.
3.5 HGZ. What is that?
You mean 3.5 gigahertz?
No, there's an H in there, dude. The GZ is preceded by an H.
That's Hertz. What?
Yeah, dude. You know what?
Spell it slower.
Oh, so I do want to thank IGN for making a nice little chart for me to reference. Thank you.
Oh, nice.
I do believe the G and the H were switched.
That
I was
would
going
make
to say,
more
I'm pretty sure
sense.
it's just gigahertz.
Yeah, it's just gigahertz.
Yeah.
Good
you know,
thing you're here, Kyle.
You get clock speed and cores when you get CPU.
IGN, I thank you. Fix it.
Googling HGZ, apparently that's a musical artist.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
Shout
Yeah.
out.
So they're putting
Hey,
the music in the
HGZ,
CPU this
shout
time.
out.
Any songs
dude.
with lyrics in the beginning and the end? Can you check that for us? Thanks.
That starts with HGX.
What is happening?
Look that up.
Tell me about the damn teraflops. That's all anybody cares about.
We're getting there, dude. We're getting there. Anyway, Xbox Series X, 3.8 gigahertz. So 3.5 to 3.8. Another huge lead for Xbox. We're talking about teraflops, bro. Because we're talking about
Yeah, bro.
we're talking about custom AMD Radeon Navis, right? In both cases. Mm-hmm. You know, they both got their own custom AMD chips. PlayStation 5, 36 CUs at 2.23 gigahertz. You know what that is? Only 10.28 teraflops, Huber.
Boo!
Teraflops.
Now let's talk about a monster that eats monsters for breakfast. Xbox Series X, it's got 52 CUs at 1.825 gigahertz. You know what that means? 12 teraflops.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
It's more than a full teraflop, man. More.
That's more than a full teraflop.
Ray tracing?
The one thing that differentiates these two, or no, the one thing that PlayStation 5 has over the Xbox is when we start talking about the SSDs.
Yeah.
So we're talking about data transfer speed. Now the PlayStation 5, that can transfer 5.5 gigabytes per second raw and 8 to 9 gigabytes per second compressed. Meanwhile, the Xbox Series X, 2.5 gigabytes per second raw.
Boo.
4.8 gigabytes compressed.
I'd give up 1 point whatever teraflops for that benefit.
Yeah,
you know?
so
I would trade
right.
that any
too.
day.
If you are like me and all of that seemed like nonsense, you should know Xbox Series X, it's just more powerful than the PlayStation. The PlayStation has one part that makes it faster. If I can make this comparison the simplest, I would say the PlayStation 5 is Spider-Man. Xbox Series X is the Rhino.
Didn't expect that. Makes perfect sense.
No. I'm being
love
rude.
it.
I'm being rude. It's not the Rhino.
I was gonna say,
It's
what?
like stronger Spider-Man.
It's like, yeah, it's like, and Spider-Man.
Iron
different
Spider.
Dude, Rhino, man, it's a compliment. Dude, knocks over buildings.
Yeah, man.
There will never be a time you fight Rhino in a video game where you don't just make him run into walls.
I know. I know. Every time.
Every time.
Yep.
So I'm belittling the SSD. That is really the thing that Sony is focusing on. It is really, I guess, apparently a differentiator of what this makes this console next gen, is how quickly it can stream in information. Panel, does that resonate with you?
It's getting me so excited.
Why?
Just about load times. I'm really
yeah.
feeling the load times in games nowadays, you know, just from things like Fortnite, whatever, but then like, you know, I'm going back and I'm playing like Metro Exodus on PS4, just the PS4 version. And I'm not even kidding, like a good 3 minutes to load into the game. That's, you know, and I'm just sitting there 3 minutes, and 3 minutes is just 3 minutes. But like when you start taking all of that into account, loading here, loading there, load into this new environment, all of that just being completely seamless and just immediate is such a game changer.
And I want to make it very clear, and I think Sony has not made it very clear. It's more than loading times.
Yeah.
Data streaming is much more than loading times. It is.
The Jack 2 part was so eye-opening. Just like, hey, why were the Jack 2 corridors all windy? Because we couldn't load fast enough. So now, because we load so fast, it gives the developers freedom to make what they want to make instead of being, you know,
I'm sorry,
bottlenecked.
Are you talking
by
about Jack and Daxter?
Jack 2? Yeah. Cerny brought up Jack 2 and Dead Space.
Dude, I fell asleep at some point in this presentation.
It was definitely
It must have been. It must have been that point.
Cerny's voice was
Yeah.
city map of Jack too.
It made a cameo.
I saw the Dead Space thing. It's like, why are you bringing this up? That's
Well, it's
so
funny because it's like a well-known thing in God of War. They talked about it a lot. All the little like tiny corridors that he would creep through. You know, like any crawling Tomb Raider did it a lot.
gosh.
You know,
Yeah.
to great effect. Like it was fun, like getting really close to that character. It's fun for them to just kind of creep around. But that's what that's doing. And so it's interesting. It's like when you hear about, you know, somebody that's behind the hardware saying that like developers don't have to do this anymore. It's like, well, if they still do it though, they'll have even more, you know, capability to make bigger environments. So it doesn't mean that stuff's going away.
Yeah.
You can't tell developers how to make their video games.
Just gives
but
them
they
more
don't
options.
have to as much. They'll obviously have a lot more power.
Yeah, I think it'll also be apparent in online stuff, dude. More players and stuff because like seeing players like load in faster, it's just a nice thing. Like SSDs like were a big difference for me playing online games, and the difference between not just the loading and stuff, but how quickly people showed up. Because when you have like a high, like a special event, a seasonal event or something, everyone's zerging to do something. It helps out so much. It's a nice. It's gonna improve a lot more than load times for sure.
Quality of life.
Yeah.
It's like the biggest.
Quality of life.
You know,
it
one
is-
of.
it is
like
interesting.
internet speeds and stuff.
So I mean, it's the biggest gap, right, between these two consoles. And while we can believe that Sony first-party studios will implement the SSD into the actual game design, It's hard to believe that third parties would utilize it in the same ways in map design, right? There's not going to be, hey, in Call of Duty on the PlayStation 5, you can see the whole map from atop of the mountain and you can't on the Xbox Series X version. I almost don't believe it'll be like that. Maybe it will be. Apparently, it helps close the gap between those other numbers that are missing.
But it makes you wonder too, because I feel like this generation, Xbox showed the memory card style external hard drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean as we go into this next generation, parts are going to be able to be swapped in and out easier? I know Cerny was talking about swapping in
Just the SSD.
the solid states, but I'm saying
Just
could
that.
Microsoft come out with an add-on that is more powerful and bridges that gap now? If now Microsoft is like, okay, well, here's a faster solid state that you can get.
I think that would have to do more with the pins on the actual unit than
Got
the
So I think
hard
how
drive
it's
itself.
placed in, there's a form for the SSD, and it has to conform to that. I don't know much. I think it's mostly going to be size, and there might be some slight improvements in speed, but it's not like they put a completely different form factor SSD like they invented something new.
But I mean,
but
even
they
if
talked
it was
about
external,
But they talked about external stuff. I thought
Yeah.
you're still gonna be able to use external hard drives for all this stuff. It's just the main primary solid state one, the one that's gonna offer the most improvement, comes out of the box. And aren't they like both gonna be proprietary or something?
For Xbox Series X proprietary,
Okay.
for the PlayStation 5, you will be able to buy off the shelf other SSDs that will work in this M2. However, a really funny part of the presentation
M2, okay.
is right now, none of them would work in the PlayStation 5. They're simply not fast enough.
Wait to hear from us.
Yes.
That's what he
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It is crazy to they have a magical SSD in this machine.
It's like completely unheard of. Like SD card stuff. That's been an issue back like Wii, the faster ones and stuff. And there were there was a new type of SD speed that came out, like that faster transfer speed versions of SD cards, and some Wii things, and like for using like for save data and stuff and for storage, they had to put out like a clarification on that. I remember you couldn't buy, the capacity was limited. You couldn't go above a certain size because it got too fast. Those cards only became the speed, and it was too fast, so like the Wii or something wasn't able to read, like it wouldn't work anymore.
That's way different. The Wii is too weak for that.
So it's
The PlayStation 5 is too fast
Okay.
for what's on the market right now.
Okay, but this
It's extremely different.
It's still the same problem of read speeds. Like,
Yeah.
it's just not compatible. Yes.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy to
You
me?
just want to stealth brag.
What's crazy to me is I just looked up on Newegg like average prices for fast M2 cards. You know,
yeah.
Hundreds, how much?
100 to 200. You know,
Well, not too bad.
It's not too bad,
their
but,
prices
like,
have been going down.
if PS5 has one that's better than anything on the market, that's $200. You can assume just for the memory, for the SSD. You know, like the PS5. How much is that thing gonna cost?
That's a fair question, Ian. After we learned all of the specs, and one more thing I do want to make clear before we start putting a dollar on it, a dollar amount, is that the PlayStation 5 will have 825 gigabytes of storage. Meanwhile, the Xbox Series X will have one big old terabyte.
Oh, so it's not a terabyte.
Well,
It is less than a
you're
terabyte
also-
even, yeah.
Yeah, but we don't know how much like their OS is going to take up. Like how much space will actually be available for you to use is still not known.
Probably
though.
like 500, dude.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
You know, just like I just feel like those things fill up so fast.
Yeah. I mean, the Pro is like a terabyte, and you get like 900 something, I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
You know,
the
it's
OS
not going to
will
be.
only take up a little bit.
Yeah. I wouldn't expect to lose at like more than 150.
Sure.
Like at most, hopefully.
How you gonna put out a next gen console with less space on it though?
Dude, those
watch
externals,
'em.
man.
Oh, you mean someone?
Those externals,
not
that's going
offering
to
the
be
same?
such a market.
No, so you got the PS4 Pro, $400, has 1 terabyte, and then you put out this PlayStation 5 for $500, and it's got 825.
You market it
Because
as
the
a terabyte,
solid
though.
state
You
is
still
much better. It's a much better hard drive
Yeah.
than what was in the previous one.
better terabyte.
Plus, the GPU and CPU we're getting are much better. So
And the games
Yeah.
we're gonna have are gonna be way bigger.
I think, Ian, this is the thing. This techno spec, I'm one of the people who sits on the side of the fence that there are definitely others out there who take this information and can easily visualize what we're probably going to get from this. For me, I still need to see a game in action.
Yeah.
Like the visuals, those visuals will speak
Sure.
way louder than any of this. I mean, it's good to know this stuff, but even like the teraflop difference, I was just reading people's impressions because a lot of this is over my head too, Kyle. I feel overwhelmed. And there are people like, well, wait. That doesn't necessarily, power-wise, yeah, that might be better, but there's some stuff with the PlayStation that it's saying it's going to do that maybe it actually will balance out and stuff. I don't know if we're talking about it because I don't want to jump ahead.
Don't jump ahead.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I don't want to skip ahead of talking about price. How much is this thing going to cost?
$550.
$550.
I think they're both probably going to be
Or five.
$499, $500.
I think $4.99.
$5 or $5.50.
Yeah, $4.99.
I think that
I think it could be $550 though, dude.
yeah.
Which one's
like-
$550?
The PS5.
It's going to be more expensive than the Xbox Series
Dude,
X?
I just keep hearing all these rumors. It's all rumors, but like the word is that they're concerned about cost. I keep hearing that.
Oh no,
popping
we
up.
talked about it on this very podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're like,
I-
I could easily see it being $550.
I think Microsoft wants to come in under them.
Yeah.
But I think because they're being the way they're revealing this stuff, I think they're just going to have to come out and be like, all right, like blind, auction stuff, like, hey, place your bids. Boom. You both bid the same thing. Sorry. I think Microsoft might have to like be in that situation where they both came out at the same price. Like, do we announce they're going lower? Is that
Yeah.
soon? Is that going to be a viable thing or not?
Here's the thing.
I think Xbox is going to be surprisingly like $450 even, or like
I have a weird feeling that
Ooh.
Xbox is
yeah.
gonna be
I think
cheaper,
Xbox
too.
is coming
They're
in
super
cheap.
aggressive.
Those aren't cheap
Yeah.
parts. What they are loading into that
know.
box is some intense stuff.
But they always take a loss on consoles. I mean, this has been going on forever.
That controller doesn't even have batteries.
I was gonna say, I feel like there's only so much you can take a loss on though
Yeah.
with that, especially
of
at a
course.
launch.
Well, here's the thing. I think you can be Xbox. You can be $50 over, and you have Halo for free on day one.
That's what I was gonna say. I think
500 with Halo.
I
Yeah.
want to see all these guys
Yeah.
bundling like they used to do.
Exactly.
500 with Halo
Preloaded
versus,
with Halo Infinite for free.
Well, I mean, you get Game Pass. I would say you get Game Pass for 3 months or 4 months or whatever, and obviously Halo's included with that.
Yeah.
I think you're a better value already.
So you think 5 for that Xbox?
No, I think $550 for it.
For Xbox?
Yeah.
What about PlayStation? 6?
No, I
I
think
s-
$4.99. I think $4.99.
So
PlayStation could
you think
do-
PlayStation's going to be cheaper? Mm-hmm. Wow. See, I think it's going to be the other way around. I think Xbox is going to be cheaper this time.
I think they're
If
gonna be the
it
same
is,
price.
dude, they really have to prove that this SSD makes it a better console. Because if not, it's insane that the weaker console, which has just weaker parts, would be more expensive.
It's got better
I did
games.
talk about a feature, a tech spec thing.
Wait, you want to talk about 3D audio? What do you want to talk about?
Oh, the boost.
What about the boost?
Didn't they talk about some?
It's always
boost mode?
boosting.
Boost
Yeah,
mode.
so
Perma
no,
boost.
so it is always in
Variable
boost.
permanent boost.
Yeah, so the way the PlayStation 5 works, Damiani, is that it is always using maximum power. Instead of using less or more, it is always running
Wait.
at max.
So what did I read about? There's some kind of boost mode that says it can dynamically change between GPU and CPU usage to be more efficient, and that's going to actually be impressive or something. That because Xbox doesn't have it, it could just be marketing speak. But they were touting like, hey, we might have slightly less teraflops, basically the analysis of it, but this boost thing is gonna equal things out. Just wait until you see it.
No, for them to get to, what do they have? The 10.2, right?
Versus 12.
Yeah, for them to get to the 10.2, they're accommodating for that. Like 10.28 is max
No,
for PlayStation
I'm
5.
not talking about getting to the teraflop number. I'm just saying when you look at the games side by side, the conclusion of this feature in the PS5 is going to put them at parity. Like PS5 won't, or Xbox Series X won't inherently look better or something. I mean, I'm just speculating here, and this is what I read from some tech analysis online when this stuff came out. And I don't know if it's true or not. That's why I want to see it to believe it.
Because nobody knows what it
Yeah,
is.
like no one knows. I'm just like, please, just show me it. You know?
Because nobody has this tech, nobody really knows what it's fully capable of. It's weird. We're in a
But
weird
at the
spot.
same time, if this is somewhat close to true or in the ballpark, I can see them why they'd be at the same price. Why like Sony feels confident enough, like, hey, we're gonna come out at 500 or 550. What right on? Like we're as good as Xbox.
It's just because
Series
that
X.
solid state, Sony's solid state. I feel like that's jacking up the price.
Sure.
That's why I'm nervous about.
That's a Sony
it.
specialty proprietary.
And
Oh wait, no, Xbox is doing a proprietary one.
yes.
Sorry, I got that backwards.
Yeah.
They're
But no,
embracing it.
There will be Sony like SSD cards you can buy though for your box, most likely. Like, here's 2 terabytes, brother.
Hey, brother.
Oh, do you think they're going to have different SKU models at the launch or something, maybe? Or do you think they're just going to come
I think
fixed?
eventually,
Okay.
as time moves on.
Lockharts and stuff coming down the pipe.
Lockhart's come down the pipe, baby.
Yep.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
becoming
Lockhart.
less and less likely to me that it'll launch with Lockhart. I think that's just not happening, but
Yeah.
that's down the pipe.
It's when that Final Fantasy VII exclusivity winds up, and you get the Tifa.
They just straight call it
Tifa Lockhart edition.
Xbox Series Lockhart. Yeah. You got 1 year.
There you go.
You got 1 year.
I don't think Sony's scared at all to go to 500.
Yeah.
I think Sony will bite the bullet.
So they're both
For sure.
500, Jones?
I would, yeah. If it was Vegas, I'd bet on that, but I'm not. I don't have like a ton of confidence behind both those things.
Well, the
I
funny-
just have a lot
go
of
ahead.
confidence that Sony, just judging by how much time they're taking, judging by how little slow information they're trickling out compared to Microsoft, I could see them being like, let's take a hit on it. It doesn't matter. We need people invested. We need them on these consoles when all this stuff gets ported from, PS4 to PS5 and all these big releases come out.
Yeah, I mean, the fun part of this is that we are led to believe that not even Sony knows what they're charging for this box. And I'm led to like Microsoft
Yeah.
hasn't solidified it yet either.
Freaking me out.
Yeah.
Because I think the
They're
people
freaked out
that are
too. They're playing
speculating, are the people that just know, what parts are going into this, know how much manufacturing costs. They're not necessarily like talking to the Sony execs, and the Sony execs are like, "We're freaking out, man."
Yeah.
I think it's just the people doing the math that they're like, "There's no way that these things are going to be cheap," and it's like that's the game that they play. Is like, I got to get you invested in PlayStation. Just PlayStation, it's the console's one thing. There's also PlayStation Now. There's also PSVR. There's a lot of other things that I need you to.
Well, and not to mention like the current status of the world, like coronavirus and everything, like factory closures and stuff. That's going to drive up prices, and the markets are being turbulent right now. Like this thing might cost more to produce in 2020, while they're trying to value it than it would have otherwise. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I think that's fair. And they're, the more they delay it, the more money they lose.
and the consumer base has less money to spend on it.
It should be noted, I think, especially because of the conversation we had just last week, both the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 are still saying they're coming out holiday 2020.
We got a more specific release date for Xbox.
No, we did not.
That was fake.
That was fake?
It was corrected.
Oh, it was corrected.
It was corrected. Yes.
So Microsoft had to correct themselves?
They had to correct themselves.
Ooh,
cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they had published on some website that it would be Thanksgiving 2020,
Yes, that's what I was
which
gonna
was
say.
probably their intent at one point.
But they don't want to be even that specific
Yeah.
with
So
the current state.
it was corrected.
That makes sense.
Very quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
so-
a little surprised.
That was from them, though?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I
thought it was
swear I
like-
saw it from
Whoa.
the official account when it was tweeted, so I was like, that was fake. I double checked the spelling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that is a really good sign that things are super loosey goosey.
It's a kind of a good sign that things are loosey goosey. Yeah, their confidence is astounding to me. Like, good luck getting these things out, but they clearly see dead set on getting these consoles out this year.
I'm expecting the worst. For
Me
this,
too. Why would we not
delays,
expect the worst
yeah.
at this point?
Yeah.
And just like all the games that are like a couple months away, like how are those not getting delayed? Like that's
Well, that's the
would-
funny thing is
I'd be
like
so shocked if they weren't delayed.
that's the funny thing is like these consoles can try to hit this year, but like if all the studios making games have had to take a month off for the virus
This
or
is a
2
very
months or
good
3
point.
months, like there's gonna be nothing to play on them that aren't like ports or things that are already pretty much ready. Like
Fair point. Yeah, I don't think you
Yeah.
launch without Call of Duty. Don't do it.
right.
Yeah.
It's like I would say like don't launch early if you aren't gonna have a killer app. Like
I think,
Sure.
they just keep working on them, having them ready to go whenever they need to have them go. And when it looks like the state of affairs are going to be better, just you pull the switch, just like announce, hey, so we're coming out like whenever. If that's sometime next year, so be it. Just whenever is like the best time for the system to come out. Developers had enough time to, as Ian, as you pointed out, like those games probably are not, they're going to be affected for sure. And consumers have more spending confidence because right now,
Just launch them next
it's
year.
hard times for people. Yeah.
Flip side, and I have no idea, but I wonder how much the holiday bump is important. Like
Extremely.
holiday, like right,
Extremely.
holiday on a really bad year, probably still better than
Yeah.
like March on a normal year.
And the
right?
cost they would have to eat doing a holiday on their old
For
dusty
sure.
consoles.
So,
yeah,
that's probably what they're banking on. Like they're probably like, hey, let's have everything in place. Do you think this is right? Have everything in place to go by. Let's pull the trigger at holiday. If things fix up and stuff, boom, we're ready for holiday. But if not, we could fall back to a later date.
Yeah.
I got a question for the panel.
Yes, sir.
Has the PlayStation 5 debuted yet?
No.
We haven't seen the physical hardware, correct?
No.
Sorry, it's just been
Correct.
It's just like I mean, we saw the rumored debug unit. That was the image. That weird thing, the fan.
The dev kit. Or
I feel like for me, I need to see the hardware.
Yeah.
and I need to
it's in
see a
early
game. I
access
need
right
a
now.
hardware and a game running on it. I've seen that supposedly with Xbox Series X. So for me, Xbox Series X has been unveiled.
It is okay.
Yes.
You've seen the box. You've seen
Yes.
Hellblade 2.
Yes.
Like,
The
Time
Game
Guy.
Awards was its unveiling. to
I would
me.
say that was its debut. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Why do we not feel that the PlayStation 5 is debuted? It's just simply you haven't seen a game and haven't seen a box, and that's the defining factor.
I think so. I think it's super fair.
Well, I don't know what I'm buying.
Yeah.
I'm not buying those stats.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm not buying that PowerPoint.
I'm not buying weird new tech that you're developing, that some of it will be in the PS5, but then you'll also be making it for the PlayStation 6 and so on. Yeah, I need to know a thing.
So obviously, and this is a roundabout way to start talking about the presentation that we saw this week for the PlayStation 5. They caught a lot of flack for this thing.
I loved it, dude. I really did.
So Hubert, I know you loved it. Tell me why people are upset.
I mean, anytime there is a big announcement about a video game event, you know, the expectations are sky high and usually always unattainable, you know? Just the expectations of, we're going to see games, and it was just them talking about numbers, basically, and specs. So if you came expecting to see games, to see the actual physical box, then you would be disappointed.
Yeah.
But I think they did a really good job of saying that's not what this is about. We're taking a deep dive into the specs, and then when the thing started, he was like, there will be times for games later. Here
Sure.
are the specs.
They clearly did a bad job of that though, because like, and this is not the first time that Sony has done this with one of these things where it's like they need to like say out like it needs to be like Alamo Drafthouse where it's like if you talk we will kick you out, you know? They need to be like this is a talk for tech specs, you will not see games. Like this is meant for GDC. This is not like a public facing advertisement thing. Like they need to be so clear with it. I know they said that sort of, but they didn't say it like loudly enough.
Just but nobody like listens or reads or pays attention to that. People just come in and are like, PS5, all right, let's see the games.
Well, even
it's like,
I
no,
knew
dude,
that.
They said.
Well, they said Cerny was going to be there, so it's like, okay, I kind of have a vibe for what this is going to be.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm tripping up on is the fact that they haven't done anything yet. They had a couple Wired articles, and that was it. And so it's like outside of print, no one has, and a PlayStation 5 logo, no one has appeared on stage or a podium or a camera or anything to talk about the PlayStation 5. So this being it, you know, this being the first thing, it's like, yeah, we're all going to freak out about this.
Yeah.
And then just confirming when it's going to happen less than 24 hours before it does. It's just, you know, with 4 weird shadows in front. It's just, it was strange.
I
Fair,
mean,
yeah.
especially
I
the-
do.
It's why I'm not surprised. I would not be surprised if the launch lineup is kind of I wouldn't be surprised if it's $500 or cheaper, just because Sony just does not seem to care.
So,
They're
yeah.
just like, we're gonna launch this when we launch it. We know you're all gonna buy it. They're just so cocky. They're like,
I disagree.
This is how we're gonna do it.
I think they had something planned for GDC, and when the world became on fire, they had to do this, and they did it.
No,
This
I
was a
think
straight
this
up
was-
GDC.
This is exactly what they had planned
Yeah,
for GDC.
it was supposed to be in
Yeah.
the mix
This
of
is what,
all of this.
This is what
Yeah.
GDC is for.
This would not have been such a big deal if GDC had happened because there'd be
Right.
all these other presentations happening around it. It would have just been reported on. Here's an update on the PS5 specs we got from GDC. It would have been presented in a bunch of articles. It probably would have still been streamed, and there probably would have been a smaller backlash from people just they're going to expect what they're going to expect no matter what you tell them. But I think because nothing happened this week, it was just like it was amplified.
Yeah.
And then putting it out, and people just started like also hungering for anything PS5. This almost, even if things had gone as they had planned, it still feels a little weird to me doing something like this without even seeing the thing yet. Like this is something I feel comes after you've shown off the console
Should've shown
at the very least. Like we've seen the thing, maybe even it's a tech demo, not an actual game running on, just a tech demo, and then okay, now we're going to show you what's under the hood here.
Exactly.
And they're kind of going. For me, we're going. They're just going about this in a different way, and I can see why some people are a little disappointed because they just want to see something a little bit more, especially when Microsoft is doing as much or more than what they're doing, and they're like, is they just with it supposedly still coming out this year? We did already have that talk, but under the assumption it's still coming out this year. I think people are like, show the hardware. Just show the hardware. You don't have to show a game. Just show the form factor. What is it going to look like?
That's the number one criticism I can get behind. But when people are like targeting Cerny and targeting the presentation that is a passionate, smart man talking about specs, like, grow up.
Yeah, so I do want to make it clear to listeners who might be completely unaware of what we got to see this week, is that, as Jones said, I think it was announced a couple of days before it happened.
A day.
An event called The Road to PlayStation 5. And in this video, it is Mark Cerny standing at not a lectern, not a podium. What is the proper word for those things? People get so particular about it. Whatever, it's a lectern. And you see silhouettes of at least 4 people in the audience, and it is basically him and his PowerPoint presentation. You see it over his his right shoulder in a large screen, and then he goes full screen on it. And that was it. That was really it. Yeah. I would say that the last time we've seen Mark Cerny present for PlayStation, it was the PS4 Pro event. And we did get to see a lot of games.
Right,
we did
on
get
a
to see the hardware.
massive stage.
Yeah.
So it's just like... It's a downgrade, but in many ways.
But
there's still something you can be excited about.
Yeah.
But it's just they have to know where people's expectations are. It just seems like I don't care. I know you want to know what the DualShock 5 looks like. Don't care. I know we're going to show you literally a graphic on screen of the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2, the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 4, and then the PS5 logo. Screw you. It's just like, what are you doing? Like, I know we're going to show you, look, the PS5 is backwards compatible with the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro. And then there's all this space and the graphic underneath it. Next graphic. Like, what are you doing? Like... let's talk about Dead Space 1. It's like, what? Like, I liked it. I had a wonderful time with Huber watching it. It still just baffles me, just how, like, kind of blasé that company is just about this whole thing.
So I don't think it's bad. I do agree with Ian. They should have set expectations correctly. Like, the expectations were off, and that's why they had a huge Twitch audience and so many people upset. However, I think this is a little like the Green Ranger.
Corrections. I think they were on YouTube. Just corrections.
Yep, sure. People were restreaming it on Twitch at least, right? The Green Ranger, you got to build hype for him. You know what I mean? You hear kids talking about the Green Ranger.
Right.
I feel like this is building up, Damiani. I don't think this is backwards.
No.
I think what do you care about the specs after you've seen the games?
Now you unveil the white cloth and you say, here it is. Oh, guess what? It's running these games. Boom.
Yeah.
All that tech stuff that nobody really cares about except developers is now, quote unquote, out of the way. Now, next time we see you, box and games.
I mean, I just don't think the tech stuff's even, honestly, for people, I think for some people that was a great presentation for them because it spoke to them.
Dude, so many developers were
But at the same
hyped.
time, I think that a lot of that information could just be like in a press release that focus on... This is not what the presentation was, but to counter your argument that this is building up, that does not do it for me. Like, you don't do a presentation on specs. That's something you reveal the hardware, reveal some software, and then that's at an event, and then you send out a press release email right after. Oh, here are the tech specs and stuff for people who care about that, start digging in and stuff.
This is something. Remember, it was just maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. Xbox Series X announced some things that made no sense to me in the comments of our YouTube channel. Had to explain to me what variable rate shaders are, right? And this is what I wanted. I wanted someone to come out and at least try to explain it to me.
Yeah.
And so it is explaining why next gen will be next gen in a way.
When you get to the Green Ranger episode, the fans aren't like, all right, let's see this Green Ranger. They're like, oh my God, I can't wait to see Green Ranger.
That's what is going to happen.
No, everyone's going to be like, okay, let's see what the back looks like. There's everything Cerny talked about. Anyway, moving on,
You would honestly think that will be the PlayStation 5 event?
It's an entertainment console.
Yeah.
It's a console about drama.
Yeah.
And like, Xbox gets that, that was silly to see a car driving through a canyon, but like, I'm sorry, you have to do that.
Let me ask you something.
You are creating adventures that I'm going to go on. The adventure is not me knowing how many teraflops there are. The adventure is not me looking at the console next to my TV and being like, yeah, like the adventure is I'm specifically playing these games and reuniting with these characters. So I don't think you should do all the games at once. I think you should do a little announcement, a little tiny thing, a little tease of something. They did that a little bit. Like, kind of after the fact, they mentioned, oh, yeah, this is going to be on PlayStation 5, like, at the Game Awards. Like, wait, what did they say? What? Do we know that for sure? Okay, they kind of botched that a little bit. And then, like, showing up later and having Cerny being like, and you're going to turn to right and kill that guy. And it's just like, this is the drama. Like this is the,
Let me ask you,
the
John,
fanfare leading up to.
Let
this
me
huge
let me
event.
ask you something then. Did you watch the ray tracing demo of Minecraft running on the Xbox Series X?
Hell yeah, I did.
You watched that?
Yes.
Was that drama?
No, it was not.
That's the right way to do it?
But I think that builds more interestingly off of the drama that they had at the Game Awards than this builds up to. I have serious doubts that they are going to show that console in any video at all. Like I think so. I think literally
that's fair, actually.
I think the
If you're watching
PlayStation
the
account
trend,
is just
yeah.
going to tweet it one day. We're going to be like, okay.
You know what? It
There-
is Instagram
Wired's
first.
going to be like, there it is.
Yeah,
it's on
it's
our
gonna be
cover.
on
It's like,
Instagram first, yeah.
all right, cool. And then like they're gonna leave it up. We're gonna leave it up to each developer to just independently on any day of the week just announce the games you're making. Like,
Yeah.
oh, cool, okay, you know,
The first gameplay will be on TikTok.
No, stop this.
vertical.
Yes.
Yeah, gross. I think it would have just been nice with this kind of like more technically oriented focused presentation, showing more visual stuff. I know they did the examples of the Jack corridors and the Dead Space, but let's say they showed off like a game on PS5 or part of a game, like here it would have been at like PS4 or whatever running at this, and now with the power of like this many teraflops or using this new GPU, just something to show side by side, like just showing you the benefit you're getting more tangibly. I think isn't.
You got to save the Green Ranger. You got to save him.
I know, but like that's.
You got to save him.
I just really want that.
To when?
I just really want to
To
see
when?
that.
When then?
I
Like,
think you do console
August.
the box
You know?
reveal, game reveal, and price reveal. I think if you do all three of those things in the same event, that's an E3 caliber,
Yep.
really cool, huge presentation, Green Ranger status.
Around E3.
Cerny's presentation made me believe that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
That's
I
where I'm
understand
at
that.
right now
Yeah.
mentally. That's the thing. I have no problem
Yeah.
with Cerny's presentation. The man
But
is
if it
extremely
was-
smart and he did a very good job. I have an issue of when it was.
Yeah, I think
But
that's
if it
fair.
was
how
a
much they built up
normal-
to it itself.
If it was a normal year, wouldn't this be the GDC thing? And then,
That's-
all right,
yeah.
see you at E3.
Right.
Like
Like
that
that.
normal?
Their
It's the most
misstep.
normal thing ever.
Their entire misstep is that, I mean, you mentioned the Wired thing, and that's a little weird that this is kind of just redundant. It's the Wired information plus, which is weird. But
No,
like,
we got hard stats.
Yeah,
we got hard stats, but it's like we could have gotten those in an article like on Wired too. Whatever. That's not what I'm trying to say. But like, this is a GDC talk. This is what they're like, and they're
Yeah.
fucking great if you're a developer or if you went to GDC and you're watching a GDC talk. Sony's big problem is just they don't know how to handle their own stupid crap. Like, even their marketing team for State of Play, like internally, everyone's like, "Oh, what's this doing?" Like, people are like, "Oh, I guess we're showing a release date," and then like a month later they change it, and it's like, "Oh, the trailer for this game has nothing to do with the story of our game." Like, that's interesting. Okay, marketing team at Sony, like
Wait, what is that? Who?
Anthem.
Oh, thank you.
But like, it's just Sony is so weird right now. They're skipping events. I mean, events are canceled now, but it's like they should have not streamed this or made it so clear that it was for developers and GDC tech focused people that, because that's their problem. Like, they should have done this, but they should have just made it clear. Because this is when this happens this time of year is GDC talk, and then at E3, the people who want the box get to see the box. Like,
Yeah, so Hubert, to say this is normal is weird, right? Because there is no normal.
I mean, like the ramp up, like you release info, like
That's what I mean.
GDC, and then E3
so
blowout.
think of PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. PlayStation 4 was announced and revealed in February, and that was already very late. We were used to PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2 knowing over a year in advance.
Yeah.
We had 2 E3s before our
Yeah.
consoles released. And so even that was crazy to have February. So I guess we're going this trend where they just wait for as long as possible to really unveil the Green Ranger.
Yeah,
Drama.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Drama
explaining it
drama.
that way because exactly. Like
it's a weird kind of drama. It's a
Unveiling-
dangerous drama.
Yeah.
exactly. Like thank you for bringing that way because unveiling of last gen was even different from everything else. It broke the trends, and then this is it's doing its own thing as well. But like historically, even last gen with the unveiling of everything, the specs come later. They always have come later. They always like don't want to talk. We're not talking about like the GPU yet or anything like that. We'll say who's making it. Like AMD is working with us or NVIDIA is working with us on this great GPU. We're not talking about like any of the raw power specs. You usually get that closer. It always came like after the E3 before launch. There would always be like that presentation between launch and after E3 that would give you like the price and here's actual final specs and everything like that. Go do your pre-orders. That's how it's kind of been. and it's now like this going to me. This is why it seems backwards, because we're getting all that information. Like, okay, you're giving us all this, Sony, and so I'm waiting for everything else to follow suit. So that's why I'm a little thrown off by this. That's
like,
all.
It's fair.
When is it too late? Is there really going to be a time when they show the PS5 and you're going to be like, whatever? Like, really, Jones?
I'm not gonna be like whatever. It's just you're asking me how I feel today, and it's
No,
like,
I mean like
I've been asking myself as the weeks have gone by in 2020, like what are they waiting for? Oh, they must have like a big thing planned, and then this happens, and it's like, is this what they planned or what? You know, like
What if they
I guess they
show-
did. It was called the Road to PS5, and that doesn't mean what you think it means. Where it's like, here we go, time to do the marketing campaign. It means we thought a lot of things in development. Like, that's what Road to PS5 meant. Like, oh, okay.
No, I think the title's fair, actually. If you expect to see the PS5 and like the Road to the Super Bowl, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna watch the Super Bowl.
you're in for the long haul.
The Road to the Game Awards is what we called their Facebook exclusive show. You're like, I'm gonna watch the Game Awards.
I mean, it's different because I know what's gonna be. I know who's playing in the Super Bowl. Like,
Yeah.
that's not something that I'm like waiting for them to announce.
I think the title is fair.
I think the title was one part of their huge misstep. Like, the title for this thing should have been the PlayStation 5 technical specifications.
Yes, I agree.
And whatever. Blah,
You know
blah.
what?
Yes.
Fair. That's what I'm
Should've
saying.
been.
So
This,
fair.
this should not
There it
have
is.
had a
It should have been
name.
crystal
There it is.
clear.
Very true. Very
This
true.
should not have had a name.
Did y'all hear that? Oh, it sounds like it's podcast halftime.
Ooh! Ah! Ooh! Those are the screams we used to make when we cut ourselves shaving before we knew about Manscaped. Quiet, you. Thank you, Manscaped, for turning our loud shrieks into multiple peaks. Men, start taking notes, because Manscaped accidents are finally a thing of the past. No more cuts and nicks with the Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0. This is their third generation trimmer featuring advanced skin-safe technology so you keep your bad boys nice and smooth. The Manscaped engineering team spent 18 months perfecting the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created. The battery will last up to 90 minutes, so you can take a longer shave. One of the coolest features is the LED light, which illuminates grooming areas for a closer and more precise trimming. And let's not forget the charging stand. Show off your mower loud and proud, because this intelligently designed stand is a rapid charging dock powered by USB. So many people have written in stories about how the Lawnmower 3.0 has changed their lives. They've even included pics so we could see the smoothness for ourselves, and they are not kidding. You need to try this out for yourself. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code ALLIES at manscaped.com. Ian Hank, tell them about Manscaped, man.
I mean, they sent us one of these things, and I shave my whole body anyway because I hate having body hair. The thing is legit really good. The light is really helpful. I don't know what the skin safe whatever. I mean, I don't know. Using their terms makes it sound like an ad, but I mean, I guess it is. But
You're in one.
yeah, I'm in one.
You're in one.
Thing's legit good. Like, I actually like it. It's my favorite shaver that I've had, and I've bought a lot of them. Trimmers, I mean. So yeah, I don't know. It's legit. Their wording is funny, but the thing is good. I don't know.
The wording is funny, but it's on the money. Let's go with that.
Nice.
Let's go with that. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code ALLIES at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use code ALLIES. Your partner and your balls will thank you. Oh, and if you're a patron of Easy Allies, thank you.
To the patrons who didn't hear that ad read, again, I must apologize because I have a question about the ad read. Jones, when you say multiple...
This will go away when Kyle's... when
5
Kyle's
more weeks of
moved
this.
on. Yeah,
5 more weeks of this.
We're going to keep it tight.
When you say multiple peaks, spell peaks.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Peaks. Peaks. Loud shrieks into multiple peaks.
Like orgasms?
Whoa.
Yeah, what does that mean to you?
What is that?
Multiple peaks.
You put me on the spot, bro, for Manscaped.
Wait, hey, someone's bothering me.
Okay, go on.
Circle back.
Yeah, circle back.
It's just nagging at me. I'm just bothered by the trend of the ridiculous expectations for events.
Okay.
Like Smash and all of this. I feel like every time there's an event, there's ridiculous expectations and everyone is always angry and disappointed.
It's because we had it so good at the beginning of the
Yeah,
of
but
the last
it's just
show.
like
It was so
it's
good
just
back then.
nonstop, and like that's mainly where I'm coming from. Where I'm just like, all right, whatever they show, because like I'm sick of just being like expecting, all right, here we go, Dino Crisis time. And
Let's say this, Hubert. I wouldn't exist if I started doing videos in this generation. You know what I mean? Final Bosman, Kyle Bosman was able to ride this high of next gen hype that like doesn't exist today.
Yeah,
It's
there was
just-
a lot of dreams happening.
Yeah, and there was just huge crowds and big events with applaud and fake applause and people messing up and people doing great things.
Yeah.
And we're just not there yet. And I think that's what's missing, and that's what people are. They've had it before, is why they have those expectations.
I wonder how much, and I'm
had it
not even sure how to phrase this, but I wonder how much of it is, like the world is just different now. Like the
I
news
think
cycle
it
is
is.
faster.
Yeah.
The internet, like everything moves faster. We're always like they're announcing it later and later to the date, and it's like because people forget about things 6 days after you announce it. 'Cause, things are so nuts. Like if they announced if they showed everything right now, like people wouldn't care anymore by like 2 weeks from now.
Mm-hmm.
Especially right now. So it's like I wonder like if next gen hype is possible to the same degree that it used to be, where it was like there are 4 tent poles, that you learn about it. Like I wouldn't even be surprised if they just show the ads like a week before you buy this damn thing. You know?
That would be crazy.
I think that would not be crazy. That is just Ian's trend watching. That's just the world
Yeah,
we
it's
live in
moving
now.
that way.
Yeah.
But, I mean, but at the same time, like it was complete other way was the wrong way. Like games being revealed way too early, systems being announced way too early.
And we would
True,
complain
yeah.
about that.
Yeah, we can complain about it. So I think there is a sweet spot they've been finding, but also things are evolving as well.
But that Jones is always hunting for that sweet spot.
Well, do you think Halo Infinite was announced too early?
Yes.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
You think knowing right now that a Halo game will launch exclusively on the Xbox Series X is like hurting it?
Not right now.
And
it's
that we've
not.
seen that game twice?
I think the second presentation was weaker than the first one.
it was.
That's when they should have done it for the first time.
Yeah.
I have a game to be excited about in that console. I have nothing. I have
think-
no reason to be excited about PlayStation 5 right now. None.
You
I
have
am
no
not.
reason. Okay.
I am not excited about the PlayStation 5.
But I like the
I'm
Game
excited
Awards.
about owning another
It should have been
console.
announced by the Game
kinda fair,
Awards.
dude.
That
I'm
was
excited
like,
about what it'll mean for our
probably
business.
the sweet
but
spot
like,
was the
it's
Game
not
Awards
I don't
for
know
that.
what
Yeah.
to be. There's not a thing. You know what I mean? There's just nothing there's nothing tangible. When he's talking about these things and then brings up Dead Space, it's like, what? Why didn't you bring up Doom? Why didn't you bring anything from last gen? What? It's so strange. Why do you bring up Horizon? Why don't you bring up exclusives?
Yeah, bring
Show
one
that
of them
Spider-Man
games.
thing again.
It's 'cause
Like
it-
tease an image of something.
Jones, we
you know?
have not yet played Ghost of Tsushima. We haven't played Last of Us Part 2. Like we're good for now, dude.
7.
They can start in late summer. They can start promoting this thing in late summer. That's how I
Then
feel.
say they're gonna do that. You know what I mean?
I get that. I get
the
it.
vibes to me sounds like Sony is scared.
So-
Sony is looking ahead and they don't know what they're
Boot
doing.
on the throat.
Sony has like 10 different
Yeah.
plans.
They got a
and they
steel
are
neck.
dodging and weaving.
Nah, they got a steel neck.
And Phil came out on the Game Awards stage and was like, "Let's party, baby." And it's like I'm not getting that energy from Sony at all. Yeah. Sony's like, "Stop asking." Like that's Sony's mantra right now.
Well, what was the
Like,
thing?
leave us alone.
what was the thing that Sean Layden said about E3 where it's like it's too late for business meetings, right? Didn't he say something like that?
Yeah.
So like the vibe I'm getting from Sony is like the GDC talk is like when we tell the public about these specs, the developers that are working on it already have these specs, they already have their dev units. So this is just kind of like to tell indies or whoever, I don't know. But like I think this is maybe too early still for the ad cycle of these, and especially like Bosman brought up, like Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy, Last of Us 2. Like they still want us to buy those. Like they don't want us to be excited about the thing that comes after those.
Yeah, what Xbox One games are you excited about right now?
This is a great point, actually.
Sure.
Right.
What are you looking forward to playing?
Sony's always
Cyberpunk.
been about this.
But like, yeah, it's like they have no, like Ori's out, right? Microsoft Game Studios has, Bleeding Edge.
Bleeding Edge.
Yeah.
Like it's funny to me because you're saying that Sony doesn't care about the PS5. I think it's almost the other way around, where I feel like Xbox has completely given up on the One. Like, sure, to me it seems like Microsoft hasn't cared about the Xbox One for a year, and that's because they don't have anything on it, and that's why they're hyped about the next gen, because they lost this gen. PS5 is not hyped about next gen.
Milking it
yet
for all it's worth.
because they won this gen, so
But
they're trying
counterpoint,
to
if the-
keep
yeah.
you going on this gen until they hype you on the next gen.
If we see the PlayStation 5 console while Last of Us 2 is running on my PS4 right now, like I'm playing Last of Us 2 right now. It's just like no. In 4 months you're gonna want to buy. It's like no, I'm gonna be replaying Final Fantasy 7 Remake. I'm doing,
Sweet spot.
I gotta
Yeah.
know why.
Gotta find the sweet spot.
That makes
I'm gonna
no
be
sense.
so-
That makes no sense to me.
Or
You don't see
sorry I
that there's a
brought all
flip
this
side to
back
those
up.
things that like you're doing too much right before this new console comes out. That Horizon Zero Dawn, if it's a launch title, is going to have an ad campaign of 4 months. Like what? It's just straight. It's weird. It's weird. I have nothing. That they literally didn't have, like, they looked across the whole spectrum and they're like, okay, this one game we're going to tease, this one game that you're going to get. Man, that is a PlayStation game. That makes sense to me. That's a Sony game. I get why they're doing that. I get why they're pushing that.
Counterpoint
It's
to
like,
your counterpoint.
later.
It works for Capcom. Like Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 2 remake. Like they announced those 4 months ahead of time, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like to me, I think it's more hype now to not have to wait a year and a half all the time. Like I don't care at all about Halo Infinite or any of these because I'm like, okay, in a year I'll give a shit. Like now it's like for Capcom stuff, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3 remake. I'm like, whoa, 2-3 months? Like that's sick. Like I vastly prefer that. Even if I am playing Last of Us 2 or whatever.
By the way, I did find the song.
Nice.
Well, we're gonna let it. We're gonna do it one more time. I stepped over the Spice Girls. I never want to do that.
Oh,
Okay, good.
Oh wait, it's gone. I hate
It's gone.
iTunes.
it's
gone.
gone. It's gone.
And I told my laptop, hey, play that in QuickTime Player, would you not? And it's like, dude, I'm going back to iTunes the second you look away. It's like, okay.
Gotcha.
Okay. Next time, Spice Girls.
You got to quit Max, man. I never look back.
I do. We're not done talking about next gen though.
Yeah, sorry,
There's still so
it
much.
was.
There's still so much
I
to
felt
get.
that, passionate about that. You guys have really awesome opinions about all that stuff. I
I know,
really want to
And I
hear.
totally get what
Yeah,
you're saying about
yeah.
disappointment. I just think that there are, because I love to analyze this stuff, that
Yeah.
there are gray areas that, like,
Yeah.
if you're Smash Brothers,
spots.
that's a little too extreme because you know get used to disappointment by now because it could really be anything. And I think during the presentation, once that lights come up and he's like, "Hey everybody, we're like, boom, there are your expectations. You know it. Like, why did they have a guy announce Cerny anyway?
That was so weird.
Yeah, the first word was unfortunately.
The first one's unfortunately.
First
Like,
word is
There are your
unfortunately.
expectations. Boom.
Very funny.
So people 30 minutes in being like, okay, this is going to pick up any second now. Like
Yeah.
you need to reassess. But it just is fascinating just in the long term. Yeah, boy, I don't know why I'm so
Oh, and
so
yeah,
heated.
that's the thing
love
is
it.
here
'Cause
we're
you're
the-
passionate
got it
about
my
it.
collar, man.
You're passionate about
I want
it,
to do
Jones.
well. I want both of these
You
consoles
love
to just sell
the
through
marketing
roof.
cycle of it more
Yeah.
than like anyone I know.
That's the
You
thing. That's
know?
why I'm letting this ride. Is we're having a good conversation
Yeah.
about this. I do want to talk about Xbox. They did have they announced a lot of things this week, and I don't want to ignore those things. We'll talk about I guess what makes the panel most excited. They showed the Xbox controller, which will be more accommodating to smaller hands. It's got a hybrid D-pad that's like half dome, half D-pad. There's a share button now and textures on the triggers. To me, not too exciting. It's not that different from what we saw before.
Subtle quality of life improvements.
Yeah.
Refinement.
They play on both.
Yeah.
An Xbox One controller will play on Series X and vice versa. So
Cool.
Is
Smart,
it batteries or charged?
Still
Both.
batteries. Still batteries.
So
you got
annoying.
the additional kit. Yeah.
yeah.
God.
Oh, by default, it's. With
I have
batteries.
no batteries right now, so I have to like keep my Xbox controller plugged in. It's so annoying. Totally out of batteries.
We mentioned this before. They had a ray tracing demo for Minecraft that showed path tracing, the hardest kind of ray tracing. Whoa. If I understand correctly, and I'm sure I don't. I was watching Digital Foundry talk about how great this demo is because I watched this thing and I'm like, okay. You know, to anyone who just doesn't care about ray tracing and sees Minecraft looks slightly better, it's like,
Yeah, it's funny they start. He's like, and to
Minecraft,
start it off, Minecraft, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, when we get past Minecraft, we'll get to like, and now State of Decay 2. Like, all right, these are not the two games.
It's like let
I
me
would
see
think-
Battlefield or something.
And now Gears.
Control.
Like, here we go.
yeah. But the thing is, listening to these people from Digital Foundry, they're very excited to see this functioning on a console, even in this tech demo, the frame rate is dropping, doing ray tracing in Minecraft. And I'm like, good job, buddy. And these guys are like, oh, it's awesome. This is really cool. This is great. And I'm like, okay. You know what? I feel like
I trust every word Digital Foundry says about tech.
exactly, dude. I had a friend who went to music school. And he's like, I can tell the difference between MP3s and other music files now. And I'm like, all right. He's like, I know what CD quality is. And it's like, to me, that is that level of like, this is clearly a better kind of ray tracing. But cool demo. The more particular demos, I think, are pretty interesting because they were uploaded on YouTube. They have these names: the loading time tech demo and the quick resume tech demo.
Yeah.
So the loading
the
time
quick-
tech
yeah.
demo shows 2 TVs and 2 people playing PUBG. And the person on Xbox Series X gets in there 6 or 7 seconds. The poor schlub who's got a regular old Xbox One
Me.
waits an extra, the video is a minute and a half long, but I feel like he gets in there before the end of the video. But he waits like an extra 36 seconds or so
Jeez.
to get into the game, as Huber was just talking about.
So wild.
End of video, minute and a half, we're just going to show you this thing.
Those are seconds of your life
Yeah.
That's an eternity.
waiting.
It just
Yeah.
adds
Yeah.
up so
What are you doing on an
much.
Xbox One, you loser? the
Give me the most broken Xbox One you could find.
Yeah, but I guess that's what people like about it and is kind of neat about it is how straightforward it is. It's like, hey, this is running Xbox One, this is Xbox Series X, this is actually happening. Here's how fast you would get into a match.
That is cool.
The
Quick
resume.
resume.
Excuse me, you want to get that phrasing correct? I don't know.
It's the most novelty feature
Yeah.
that I am gonna use once because I'm curious about it. Like I want to use it, but like when, like I'm basically saying I'm gonna force myself to use that feature. Like it's really cool that it exists, but at this point I'm gonna go out of my way to use it. So
You
like
don't play more than one game at a time?
no.
Oh.
No. Like the only situation I would use that in is like literally having Call of Duty Warzone open, Fortnite open, and then after the match is over, cycling over to the new one, dropping in that one as the match is over. Like
I'm telling you to log you out if you try to do
I
that.
know, I know.
Yeah, to me it's funny. I mean, it's like your phone, right? You open a tab and then you're like switch over to the other app, and that app was where it was the last time you opened it. I mean, it just kind of works like how you would expect it to.
It's cool. It's cool that it's there.
Yeah, it's to me still not that thing. It's not the Green Ranger. It's not terribly exciting.
No, it's not that thing.
Yeah.
I think it is still exciting because in a multiplayer environment on consoles, I think there is a lot of waiting. There's waiting to load into stuff. There's waiting for friends to get online. So like it is kind of it's not necessarily fun of like finally, but like I think it is a sign of like, oh, this is neat. Where we are moving into the future.
Actually.
The fact that I can have 2 things running at the same time. The fact that I can literally like sign on, to Destiny 2 and be like, all right, let's go. And it's like, okay, cool, I'm here. It's like, what were you doing? It's like, oh, playing RE3. It's fine.
Same
Anyway,
with
let's go.
your friends, Jones. That was made me think like waiting for my friends. I'm always waiting for my friend. Like, all right, meet you in Fortnite, and then like 10 minutes. Where are you? So it's just like, because you have to like set up the load. So I'll like quit what I'm doing, load it up, and now you can just load that up and then still play, your single player game or whatever you're doing until your friend is like actually there.
Sure.
This will also be
cool.
popular streamers, like big streamers, because they're
Yeah.
always waiting their queue and stuff. So
Very cool.
They can just switch over to another game while the queue is like waiting to fill and stuff.
No,
and,
no. It doesn't suspend your spot online. It is going to log you off if you're just like going over to something else.
I think if you're idle for a while, maybe, but like if you matchmake and then go to another game, I still think it would matchmake. Maybe not, but
That's
Is
absurd
this
to me.
confirmed
Yeah.
that it will do this?
that you can log into multiple games online at the same time.
I think as long
That's
as
not the promised feature.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if
Yeah.
it's not that, then no, it will not.
Well, the
'cause I wouldn't be
implication
using
the
bandwidth.
implication of that is very different.
what-
where it's like then it's running 2 games at the same time. It's just suspending one and
True.
running the other.
Right.
True.
Right. So like it's not going to keep logging you into Fortnite.
Gotcha.
True.
Yeah. Because also that would suck. It would sap resources from one
Yeah.
of your games.
True.
Yeah.
Cut you down to freaking 6 teraflops.
What if you can you idle in the lobby maybe? I wonder.
I bet you could. I mean, you can get to the title screen, and that does take a while, right? But and I don't know. I think it still might log you off, right?
Yeah, like if
you
you're
have
in
to
an
load
online match
in.
or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
we'll just like log you out. Yeah, then never
wonder.
mind.
Yeah.
Bummer.
They said an interesting thing that somebody who was testing it had their console unplugged it, didn't update, and then was still at their same spot of the game where they left it. But yeah, I mean, you're saving us a title screen. You're not. It's not like, oh, this is incredible. You're saving me hours on the day. It's like, yeah, neat. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's like Netflix skip intro.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of
Yeah.
funny.
Good
It's like,
call. Good call.
Perfect.
like so many like retro games I play, the collections now, they just have like the save states. You just like load in, like hit the button immediately. Like as soon as the first like frame of the load begins, it's like boom, skip me ahead to where I was and stuff. So it's like not quite that, but it's a nice thing to have, you know, if that's streamlined a little bit more.
Sure. I want to talk about backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
With the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Lacking.
1%
Confusing.
lacking.
Confusing. So Mark Cerny, during his presentation, explained that the PlayStation 5 is so fast that it doesn't even know how to run those slow PlayStation 4 games. He said that of the top 100 most played PlayStation 4 games, they got most of them working.
That's got to be like all multiplayer games.
Was
though,
it they got most of them working, or this like inherently just worked without like any like adjustments?
I'm going to use their exact language that
Okay.
was printed on the PlayStation blog. We're excited to confirm that the backwards compatibility features are working well. We recently took a look at the top 100 PS4 titles as ranked by playtime, and we're expecting almost all of them to be playable at launch on PS5. With more than 4,000 games published on PS4, we will continue the testing process and expand backwards compatibility coverage over time.
Bloodborne.
Bloodborne's in there.
Bloodborne, baby.
Yeah,
I love how it sounds like they're just like they accidentally made the PS5 and they don't even understand how it works. They're just like, we think this will work. We have to test. I don't know.
It's like alien tech.
Yeah. It's like we don't know how this thing works with this.
Wow,
Yeah,
look at yeah. Go ahead.
Wow, it runs that. Oh,
I just think Microsoft is in a whole like this. They are years ahead of Sony on this. Just it isn't even close. Like some of these other things are close between the two companies, and I just think Microsoft is decimating PlayStation when it comes to backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
And this still doesn't help where we are now because so many PlayStation 4 owners wish they could play their PS1, 2, and 3 games. And I know there's weird ways to do that, you know, PS2 to PS4 thing and the PlayStation Now, of course. But like, these are Band-Aids. These aren't, you know, this is not backwards compatibility. And now going into PS5, we were talking about this. It's just like, well, we're bringing our PS4 games, but we still don't have access to our back PlayStation catalog. Like, that's what we want. That's what I want as a PlayStation owner. I want this new system to be able to play all my PlayStation games that I've been collecting for decades now. Like, so I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised. You know,
That's like that's the dream, Huber.
Yeah.
To have my physical copies
is that
of all those
unrealistic?
games.
I mean, it seems unrealistic in a way,
it's
but
like the thing that would be like the Green Rangers. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
like here we go.
Put it
I don't think
any
it would
PlayStation
be. I don't think
disc?
that would be. No,
I'm saying
It'd be
for
pretty
me. For
sweet.
Kyle, I'm saying for me.
Sure.
I'm saying for me.
sure.
any
But
PlayStation disc.
let me say that the thing I'm most surprised about is not that. Like, I always kind of expected this might not be a reality with it. PS1, PS2, PS3 backwards compatibility, but not. Them coming out and saying even it's not 100% even for like PS4 games is a little surprising to me because I'll be honest, maybe I'm ignorant. I was under the assumption that almost every PS4 game was just going to work on PS5 automatically because this like the architecture is similar enough that I was like it's just going to be there. Like expect that for both systems. They're going to be at parity with that, and that's not even the case right now. I'm like, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's also it's raising a little bit of a red flag there about what's up here.
So I think what is up there, Damiani, is when you make a PlayStation 4 game, you set it for these specific parameters, unlike a PC where you're just like, well, you could do this or this or this or this. So the PlayStation 4 game is just like, oh, I'm going to push as hard as I can, baby. And then when you put it into this machine where it's like, oh, you can go much, much harder, that's when things go awry.
Yeah.
And so I think
Because it probably takes work and money to fix it and optimize it for the PS5.
yeah.
Yeah,
paying
I
for
know it's
that?
way more technical. Like,
Who's going to pay for it?
Who's going to pay for that?
Like, I hope it's not so like silly as like it can't be like frame rate stuff. Remember like the older games, like they'd be like locked at 30 or something. So when they tried to play them at 60 frames, like it messed up stuff.
Yeah.
It can't be that. It has to be like other stuff. And I understand it's not as simple as like I literally should just like they should just made the PS5 without any testing and put your PS4 disc in there and it just works. Like I'm not that unrealistic, but at the same time, I'm surprised they're saying anything until they got it at like. At least majority of the library is like good to go. This is a little weird that they're saying anything about this, and it's not not necessarily flawless. It's just like not the most positive message, especially when it's something I think a lot of people are just taking for granted.
A lot of people will say, oh, I don't care, I want to play my new games. But like this is a huge feature that a lot of people want, and it means a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I think it is one of the biggest bullet points when you are talking about a next-gen console is backwards compatibility.
That's actually what I wanted to ask you guys, because like to me,
Yeah.
I'm in that first camp where I'm like, I want to play the new stuff.
Of course.
But like,
Is it that big of a deal?
yeah, because now I can't get rid of my PlayStation 4
Exactly.
if I can't
Right.
play some of my
Oh, yeah.
games.
I would
wanna-
love to get
I'm
rid of
under
that thing.
expectation I can trade in my Pro, and everything I have in my Pro is going to work on the 5, and that's not the case right now. So it's like, oh great, that's like
a
traded
really
money
good
I'm not
point.
getting or
Yeah.
selling money.
It's like 100, 150 bucks.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
losing.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah, it's
as
a money
we
loss.
move into the, digital, just like life, quality of life, right? Wouldn't that be one of the best quality of life features? Like put your one PS5 in your living room, any game on PlayStation you own, boom. I mean, so convenient, so nice.
So, I mean, what is
But
weird is that
unrealistic.
Sony did patent a method to emulate older PlayStation games. I think it was PS1, PS2, maybe PS3. Like, they put in some, what is it, research
R&D?
and development, R&D. They put in some R&D. Like, they at least have an idea of how to do it. And I just think it's not a priority right now. It's clear like these 100 games are their priority, and then we'll work on the extra 4,000. Ooh.
But I mean, it
Yikes.
may not be a priority, but you could see where Microsoft like pushes this such a big advantage because it's not just they're nailing that these games are backwards compatible. They did have to work through some games to get them, but
They've
it wasn't
gone
just
through it. They've put in the time though.
But
you
it wasn't
know?
just baseline. It was enhancements.
Yeah.
Like some games getting 4K support. It was like
Yes.
that's not even like
Red
Sony's,
Dead on Xbox One, backwards compatible. Just like such a good way to play that
like
game.
if Sony was promising like there are gonna be all these enhancements and stuff as well on top of it. That's why it's taking a little bit more time, and like we expect to get most of them, the catalog to that ready for launch. That'd feel a lot better, but they don't have that precedent, and Microsoft does. So I still think Microsoft is edging him out on this, and this was a little bit of this was a small misstep.
Yeah.
It's something that could still easily rectify. They could just come out like in a few months, hey, we got it, we're all good, you know. There's
Yeah.
still time to correct, but if it's not by launch, I think it will be more than a small misstep.
I do want to say though that Xbox One doesn't run all your 360 games, and it runs barely any Xbox games, right? Maybe 20. I don't remember the total there. So I feel like backwards compatibility takes work, and Microsoft. The difference is Microsoft is losing a lot of money. Just putting it in, dumping it in to make that stuff work. And for Sony to do it, they will have to make the same kind of commitment.
They do lose money, but then those games also usually become available digitally as well, which you
yeah.
can go back and rebuy.
Yep.
Like those
Dude,
games,
when they
that-
blew out
once
Red Dead,
when they
when Red
confirm
Dead came
backwards
out?
compatibility on a disc, then they usually, if they have the rights, they put it
For all
digitally
of them.
on there.
For all of them.
Yeah, and it's great, and you could rebuy it digitally, which I've done for, like, I will do for some of them when I get the Xbox Series X. That's very appealing to me because some games I don't want to have the physical disc anymore to play it. I'm
I'm
not
always
attached to
playing
it.
my old
Yeah.
games. Like I'm always playing them.
Yeah, I still don't think they come out on top. Like just think of like Sonic Unleashed, right? Just think of that game.
I mean, on top, like financially.
Yeah,
I like
think
it
about
now.
how much
Swim
work, how
in
many
sevens.
man hours
But
go
I
in.
think, I don't think they're not making a gain on that in terms of like, that regard. But I think it is a selling point that helps with like the long game. Like,
It's not all loss.
It's the hardware.
Sure.
We need to sell more hardware here and get people on board so they buy newer games and stuff. If this is what it takes, this is how much it costs to do it. Hey, it's worth it to us. You know,
Yeah.
or we're willing to take. It's only really this much of a loss compared to whatever you might think it'd be. It's not substantial, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. I feel like with a lot of the PlayStation 5, we got incomplete announcements.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so I am curious how this will be messaged in the future. I don't think they're going to use that number 100 ever again because of the reaction to it. Because it sounds minuscule. It sounds like, good job.
Good job. You have Fortnite and Call of Duty.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It doesn't sound like enough.
Also
And-
not definitive. It wasn't even 100. It was most of, or I think it will. and, you
Yeah,
know.
by launch.
Yeah.
So they're just those 100 games they're still working on between now and holiday 2020. Oof. There was a game announcement kind of last week that I kind of missed, and I think it's a big deal.
there was a big one today.
What was announced today?
We did it, baby.
Oh, I know.
We did it.
This is
No,
the
no.
Huber
Remasters don't get
announcement.
on the podcast.
Yeah.
They don't get
This
on the
is
podcast.
a big one.
Okay, hit
Let me
me.
say
We've
the- let me say the
wanted
title.
this.
Let me
What
say
was
the-
it?
What was the title, Heber? Say the title.
Sunset Riders coming back.
It's not a remake.
It's not a remake or anything. Just the port. They're porting it to.
Is it at least wide though? Like arcade wide?
It's on PS4 and Switch.
Yeah. But when you're
And-
watching it, was it 4x3 or was it?
That I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, okay,
Just
okay.
saw the headlines.
Sure.
Yep. Don't know. But it's coming.
Yeah.
We did it.
Yeah.
Sunset Riders.
We did it.
You know what? I actually thought, I was thinking like earlier this year, maybe last year, that it would never come back because of the Native American stereotypes.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like when you load up the game, it's got to be like, hey,
totally.
a lot of this sucks.
Yeah.
Be prepared. This is
Do you think they'll
inappropriate.
change anything or
They should. They should probably change some stuff. But yeah.
hell of a game?
Yep.
We did it, Ian. Cross it off the list.
Cross out.
We
That was
did
another
it.
Huber dream.
Yep.
Come to
What
life.
was
What was the other game in?
Okay, so this is
It came with someone else too.
I think probably like one of the biggest announcements of the year. Should have been a standalone free-to-play game.
Temtem.
Stop it.
Stop that.
Call of
Oh,
Duty Warzone.
Oh. Whoops.
that was only last week.
That was only last week.
Yeah.
That was only
Really?
last week.
Feels like it's been a
I
month.
know.
Because it leaked.
It
It leaked a long time
leaked.
ago.
Okay.
And it's keep
The
passing.
game's
But
been
I feel like
out.
people have been playing it for like a
I know.
month.
I never
sorry.
think about
because
it,
I've,
like-
because I've been playing Call of Duty a lot.
Yeah.
I see everyone playing it.
We could have talked about it on this podcast, I feel like a month or two ago, but I keep forgetting about it. So I feel like just we owe it some lip service.
Cool.
This free-to-play Call of Duty Battle Royale game
It's
launched last week.
freaking awesome.
It uses a lot of assets from Modern Warfare. It uses the Spec Ops maps and kind of just mushes them all into one map. Free to play to anyone that can download it by itself.
Free to play.
If you have Modern Warfare, it's also clearly part of that. And I guess your progression carries over between Modern Warfare Online and this game.
That's cool.
So if you are doing the free to play version, you're getting less of a game than if you own Modern Warfare and also playing this mode. But hey, that's
Just
the
less
thing that
rewards
exists.
and stuff, but you still get the full battle royale.
Yeah.
And you're still playing with people that own.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if you have the free to play version or the Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doesn't even matter what system you're playing on.
Really
Right.
fun.
Yeah.
They finally added solos, thankfully. I
Saw
love
that,
being
yeah.
able, I love the team aspect. Of course, I primarily play Fortnite duos. I never really solo queue, but I love having the option if it's late at night. Just want to jump in there. So Call of Duty just added that. Thank you.
You always got a chance. 1
Yeah.
versus 3, I don't know, man.
I know.
1v1, you got a chance.
Exactly.
Is it generally faster queues for solos?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the two shout outs for it that I really like are the Gulag. When you die, you go to the Gulag and you fight in a 1v1 to get back out.
And first you spectate other people fighting one
Yeah, yeah. You like look down. It's like the prison from The Rock, the bathroom from The Rock. So the Gulag is really fun and intense. And then bounties, live bounties. You can pick up like a bounty mission, and it'll give you a target for another player in the match, and then they also know that they're being hunted, and then there will be a vision, like an area that this person will be in. So you can just like hunt these people down for cash. It's just a really cool dynamic whether you're hunting or being hunted. And then the reward is amazing. You get a bunch of cash. And just
What
because
do I do with cash?
and then you with
In
the
a Battle
cash.
Royale game, what do I do with cash?
Yeah, it's like you can buy revives or like Call of Duty has perks. It's the main thing. The only way to get perks is to buy it from the shop. So you can buy like a full-on loadout with perks. That's like the most valuable thing in the game. And then obviously self-revive. If your teammates die, you can pay to revive them. If they die in the Gulag also, you can like pay to bring them back.
So let me ask you this. We're going to get another Call of Duty game this year.
Yeah.
Rumored to be a Black Ops kind of reboot.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I wish it was just Modern Warfare 2 again. Like, keep it going.
Well, they will.
Well, we also
Probably.
rumored to have a remaster of Modern Warfare 2 this year as
Yeah.
well, which would be nuts. Maybe a little early. Anyway, are we talking about this mode next year?
I don't know. I was so weirded out, right? Because they have Blackout
Yep.
and now Warzone. Are they just kind of eating each other?
They're eating each other.
Like
Undoubtedly.
Yeah,
Now
I
do
think
you have a
Warzone
th-
should gobble up Blackout. This is when Blackout came out. I was like, they should
Yeah.
have their own thing that's separate from each entry, and then make it the same thing where it's like Warzone's tied into this new to Black Ops potentially, and so like you're earning for Warzone and you gain access to it, like it's just included on there, and so like you always have that tease. It's like, okay, if you just play Warzone, that's fine, but we're reminding you every single year, like you're having a fun time. Look at all this other stuff that we're making. Yeah, tie those two things together.
New map rollouts, new like season thing rollout, right time to that.
Yep.
Yeah, be perfect.
Weird. Yeah. I wanted to just mention it. We'll keep track of what's going on with Call of Duty, obviously.
Crazy that it's free to play, you know?
Yeah.
Free to play
Surprised
Call of
that
Duty.
Activision-
So
yeah.
even if they do come out with another one,
I guess that's what's
guess
notable about this.
yeah.
You get to play this AAA Activision super expensive game. You get to pull that trigger on that gun for free.
Yeah.
I guess that's what's
Worth a shot.
Yeah.
If I was,
Absolutely
if I was
worth
Activision, I would invest
Yeah.
in that for sure. Because just let's see how it does.
I think we've wondered that for a long time. When will Call of Duty try a multiplayer only free to play? And then there it is.
And like, if you own Modern Warfare, it's just like, to me, the strength of the game is just how many modes there are on multiplayer and how good like most of them are. There's just another, if you own Call of Duty now, it's just another mode.
Yeah.
Battle Royale, Deathmatch, Domination, Cyber Attack. It's just like so many ways to play that game.
All right, before we move on, what is Cyber Attack?
Cyber Attack's the best one. It's so much skill, so much teamwork.
Wait, what is it? What is it? Are we in a cyber zone?
No, you have to like plant like an EMP device, I believe it is. It's like it's a bomb planting thing. The thing is, if you go down, it's 5-on-5. Teamwork is the most important in this mode. If you go down, like the score will be on top, right? It'll be like 5-on-5. Anytime you go down, it's like 1 down. All right, you have 4 left. You have 3 left. You can revive anyone on your team at any time, but it takes a long time. So it's just every time it's this cat and mouse game of like, do I go for a revive? I killed that guy. Do I guard his body?
I'd be guarding that body.
Do I go plant the bomb? Do I go defend the bomb? It's just a really good competitive mode.
So it's close to Rainbow Six Siege, where it's just very tight and you're considering
Counter-Strike.
each life.
Yeah.
Cool. When you said Cyber Attack, I was thinking of Johnny Quest fighting Ezekiel Rage.
Oh, that's not what I was thinking.
The cartoon. It was a Cartoon Network reboot from I think the 90s.
Yeah.
I watched it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, watch it.
There would be like Jones. There'd be like 1 out of 4 episodes would be a sweet CG adventure.
Yeah.
And then they'd go back to 2D. It's like this show sucks. You're just waiting for the CG episodes. It's time for Love and Respect. Oh wait, what?
Did you watch Mighty Max?
Mighty Max.
I
Mighty
did,
Max.
dude.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Love Mighty Max.
That may have been the song from The Toys, but I definitely remember the show as well.
That's why I think the one CG episode we did of the Easy Allies podcast was a mistake because it's just all we hear about ever since. You know?
Everyone they give us
Like,
a
that
really
was
hard
really
time.
cool. When
Yeah.
you did that, I was like, yeah, no.
Can we?
Trying it out.
Too expensive.
Okay. I feel like we could do performance capture CG. We're gonna have to at some point.
Yeah, when we introduce the CG Kyle replacement.
Yes. All right, it's time for Love and Respect.
Love and respect.
Sounding crunchy today, Rufus.
A little crunchy
I
today,
loved
Rufus.
It. I loved it.
Sorry, what?
What if you're gone? First podcast I'm hosting after you leave. Okay, time for love and respect.
Rufus?
Okay, it's time for love and respect. It's like, the song's over, man.
The song is over.
gets up, just like waddles off, like jumps off.
Or he's not even there.
Anybody see Rufus? I can't play. That's the thing.
That's right. We left him right over here.
That's the thing, though, Jones. If something that supernatural happens, we'll all accept it at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're driven so mad by how rapidly things are changing every single day. Rufus could hop off the table and we'd be like, well, that was weird.
Gotta roll.
Anyway, talking
later.
about video games. Yeah.
Be safe out there, Rufus.
Speaking of which, I do want to address this one first. As the coronavirus situation goes on, what does this mean for Easy Allies? In the era of self-isolation, will allies be able to make it to the studio? I worry about you guys and want you to be safe. Love and respect, Elaine from New Zealand.
Hey everybody, Brandon Jones here with a quick update to the question that was just asked during Love and Respect in this episode of the Easy Allies podcast. I'm just about to sit down and cut this episode, and the situation is changing so rapidly concerning COVID-19. The mayor of Los Angeles just passed an order called Safer at Home, which means that we are no longer legally able to visit our office and produce content at our office. We are going to have to do things from home. And so, therefore, the answer that we gave tonight during the Easy Allies podcast does not apply anymore because the situation is changing so drastically. And so we are going to be staying at home. We are going to be recording all of our shows and all of our streams from home. Obviously, we have a big event that we would like to do this weekend called Easy X that we'd originally planned to do. And all of that is changing. We are going to meet and discuss our options and change our plans very rapidly. But of course, everything that we had previously said on the Easy Allies podcast does not apply anymore because this order has been passed and the situation has changed. So I wanted to give you a quick update. Apologies for popping up out of nowhere on the podcast, especially during such a cozy time as Love and Respect. But that is the updated answer. And if you are listening to this on Friday, we are meeting and trying to figure out what we're going to be doing, not only on Sunday for the event that we are going to have, but throughout the rest of the week. We're planning a marathon stream. And so we're going to be figuring out the pluses and minuses of planning such an event and what we want to do instead of that. And if you're listening to this on Sunday, then you are all possibly witnessing the decisions that we made and other stuff that is evolving as the situation evolves and as Easy Allies, balances the ups and downs to bring you the best content that we possibly can. So enjoy the rest of the Easy Allies podcast.
Kyle, I've been thinking a lot about your departure from EZA, and I've started to realize that it shares a lot in common with another current event surrounding your all-time favorite athlete, Tom Brady. Tom Brady has elected to leave the New England Patriots and will likely play next year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You see, both you and Tom are leaving excellent organizations, EZA and the Patriots, for the great unknown, electing to chart your own path. You and Brady have both meant a lot to your respective franchises over the years and could be seen as irreplaceable. However, I have no doubt both EZA and the Patriots will continue to succeed in the future.
Yes!
As for you and Tom,
take.
all I can hope is that you choose a better next chapter than a middle-of-the-road NFC South team with very little upside. I'm sure you will, and I wish you the best of luck. Love and respect, Andrew B.
Oh, wow.
It's like, what did Jordan play on the Magic or something like before he left? Or he came
Wizards.
back?
Wizards.
The
They were
Wizards.
Washington
right?
Wizards, yeah.
Yeah. Can't promise I'll do better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
NFL organization.
There's a great new
Oh,
bit for the
gosh.
new ECLS podcast. Is Kyle's future better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Yeah.
Bucks versus
Let's check
Bosman.
in.
Bucks versus Bosman check in.
That Twitter feed's pretty quiet.
It should be weekly, right? And Tom Brady got one touchdown. Who's doing better is a really funny segment.
Not an opening segment. That's
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
Joker time.
absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
It's really good.
check in.
That's really good.
Okay. Hola from Portugal. We are in quarantine here. My friends are asking me to figure out some games we could play online on the PS4. I'm kind of the game guy in my group. I've been listening to you guys for a long time, but I actually don't play that much, and I'm struggling to provide good suggestions. If you were in my shoes, which games would you suggest? Love and respect, Felipe PW.
Warframe.
Final Fantasy 14.
If you can handle the load times, Destiny 2 is so fun.
Okay, hold on. I heard 3 very weird suggestions,
Vermintide 2.
and now I got 4. So I need to know why. Think of Felipe right now. Just heard 3 suggestions,
Right.
4 suggestions, and overwhelmed.
Unlike all of the games, the other 3 games, Warframe's free.
Yeah.
What do you lose?
Right. That's why I would say like maybe Fortnite or that Call of Duty game. But yeah, Warframe's cool too because you can really sink your teeth into it.
Fortnite as well, obviously. That
Yeah.
goes without saying. Just because, like, especially if you, like, there's people that haven't played Fortnite. Like, if you haven't played Fortnite, there's a lot of things that you can do in the game that make it persistent, like an MMO style. You level up, you do all these challenges. Like, there's a lot to explore on the map, and doing that with friends is so fun. It's
Yeah.
why I play that game.
Yeah, it's funny. Like we don't talk about it on the podcast that much. We're not super passionate about Fortnite, but it'd be one of the first ones I recommend for sure. Destiny 2 free to start.
Free to start. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
do everything up to the newest expansion. Destiny 2 is hands down, one of the best co-op games you can play. Just, there's so much to do. It's easy to jump into it with friends, and I think really important is you can get really far ahead of someone and still play together.
Yeah.
And it be beneficial. So I think that matters.
Damiani, you're in a group of friends where you like video games the most, and then you say, we all got to play Final Fantasy 14. Defend that.
I mean, it's also free to start as well.
Okay, that's something.
You can try it.
Yeah.
Has the most content of any suggestions going to be here, so this will last.
More than Warframe? Promise me it's more than Warframe.
Absolutely.
What's the monthly fee, though?
This will take. This depends on what type of subscription you want to do.
So like $12 minimum a month.
Wait, it's free to start.
but it's free.
But you
to
still got to
start.
play the monthly fee, right? Well, they give you like a week free, probably.
No, you can play level 35 with no strings attached whatsoever.
No fee whatsoever to
Nothing.
35.
They're counting
That's
to hook you.
amazing.
They're counting to hook
Yeah.
you.
That's
before
really
then.
good, though.
Yeah.
They also have free logging campaigns, but everyone does
Okay.
that. But
That's like enough to
Yeah.
to see if
yeah, that's to get players to come back usually.
Cool.
No lie. With all the expansions, 3 expansions, 5 content patches, updates on top of each expansion, you could play this for like an hour or 2 a night, and you'll probably be there for months if you want.
We're quarantined.
Hundreds
Yeah.
of hours.
Yeah, it's like you get a good 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
A lot
That's
of the
prime
hundreds
MMO.
good amount of the
Yeah.
content you can play
Yeah.
if your friends aren't available. Yeah, you could play it by yourself for a little bit. When they're ready to play, there's a bunch of content you could play together. Just a lot of fun stuff like raiding together. What do you want to do? Dungeons together. There's just so many different activities to do, and you will find that it is really easy to get into almost any of them. And all of them provide a lot of hours of entertainment, I think, whatever direction you go. And large community, very large community of people out there. So a lot of people to play with, and it's a fun. It's a mostly good community.
Ian and I will get roasted if we don't say Monster
Monster
Hunter.
World. I was just about to.
That's a really good one. I want to hear about Vermintide 2, Ian, and then let's end with Monster Hunter.
Well, I love Vermintide 2 on PC. I haven't ever played it on PS4, so who knows? But it's on there. It's a fun game. It's like Left 4 Dead in the Warhammer universe. Kill rat boys. Now they got goat boys in there. You can be a bow and arrow. You could be a sword. You could use fires.
It's first person.
First person, really good melee. Best first person melee I've ever experienced.
How does the
probably.
jumping feel?
concur.
Jumping is good.
Okay,
Actually, a lot of the stuff, there's a lot of like fun little secret things you can get to by jumping.
cool.
It's a fun game, dude. It's really good.
How much can I customize my character?
You change their outfits, but it's like Left 4 Dead where it has characters and they have like jargon with each other, like
They're specific people.
repartee. So that's how the story is put forth.
Cool. And then
Yeah.
Monster Hunter World seems like, go for it.
Monster Hunter World is amazing.
If it keeps on giving.
Yeah, and if 14 isn't too complicated for you, World won't be too complicated for you.
And especially the Easy Allies Monster Hunter community is the
incredible.
most supportive and
Right.
inviting and welcoming.
If your
and
friends
you can
drop
play,
out.
yeah.
You can play with us.
You can play with all the
Yeah.
allies.
Yeah. Because I think that's a risk for any of these is losing your friend's interest. I've been there 1,000 times, right?
Yeah. Out of every single game Easy Allies plays, the Monster Hunter community is by far the biggest and strongest.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's surprising me.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like, because, I don't know. Like, people play Fortnite with me and Call of Duty and stuff, but, like, dude, when we do weekly hunts, Ian, like, how many people are in
it
there?
fills up
Yeah.
every time.
It is time to wrap up the podcast. I want to play one more game. Hey, look, people are quarantined. We're entertaining them. Let's do a little bonus.
Yeah.
One more game. One last one, because I think this panel can do it. Okay. Here we go. This is from John Johnston. It's a game stolen from an IGN UK podcast called Go On, Name Them, where we're going to try to name all of the 25 Resident Evil playable characters from the main games and Revelations.
Oh, shit.
Excellent.
Apparently, it's also from a UK quiz show, so we don't have to feel too bad from stealing it from the IGN UK
Well, I'm
podcast.
with you two jokers, so that's good.
Yeah. So these are listed alphabetically. It's going to be a little hard for me to keep track.
Inevitably, we're going to have to name the blonde guy from Dead Aim.
He's not a main one.
Is that a main one?
I want to say it's
There's
like
nobody
Jack.
from Dead Aim here. There's nobody
Okay.
from Dead Aim here.
Does this count like Moira? Because she's like a player 2.
Moira Burton, she's in.
Let's
Okay.
go. Let's go.
Okay.
Man. Let's go
Nice.
by.
Let's go in
so,
order.
yeah, let's go to 0. Billy Cohen, Rebecca Chambers.
Billy Cohen, Rebecca Chambers. You nailed
Number
them.
1, Jill Valentine,
Yeah, of course.
Chris Redfield.
Chris Redfield.
Great.
Does the Resident Evil 0 HD remaster count that lets you play as Albert Wesker?
Albert Wesker, not listed,
Cat.
but great.
Not
I mean,
the
it's
only
a
time he's been
skin.
playable.
Yeah,
so-
it sounds like mercenaries.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Yeah.
All right.
I classify the
they're
same thing as playing
mercenaries.
mercenaries. Yeah.
2 is Claire Redfield, Leon Kennedy,
Okay.
And Ada Wong.
and Ada Wong.
Yeah, it's definitely in 4.
And Annette Burke or Sherry Birkin.
Cheryl, yeah.
Yeah.
Sherry Birkin.
You take
Sherry
way.
Birkin, yeah, and
Yep.
RE2 and
Yep.
RE6. Cool.
Yep.
3, Jill Valentine.
Hold on, Sherry Birkin's in RE6 and you play as her?
Yeah,
she's
main
older.
character
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Jake. You play alongside with Jake.
That's
yeah.
very funny. Okay. You already did Jill, of course.
And you got Ada.
Carlos.
And Carlos.
Let's get Carlos in there. What's his last name?
Oliviera.
Nice, Huber.
And then 4 is
Ashley Graham.
Ashley Graham.
and Leon.
Yes, yes.
And Ada,
And
of
Ada.
course. 5 is
Sheva.
Sheva Alomar
Alright.
and Chris.
Let's get Sheva in there.
6. All right, we got Leon and Helena Harper.
Harper.
Love Helena Harper.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm noticing at this point
Shout out Helena Harper.
you're hitting the numbers, but chronologically we missed one.
Oh, Code Veronica.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh my God,
I'm
dude.
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
Oh, I'm gonna hear about this.
Yeah.
Why? Who do you play as in that one?
Very strange.
Claire Redfield,
And
Chris Redfield, and you don't play as Steve Burnside.
don't
he's
ever?
listed. Steve Burnside is listed here.
Oh, you do play as him. I'm
play
sorry.
as him? Yeah,
You
yeah.
play as him.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Good job, Jones.
Wow.
I know.
All right.
You
Code
dropped that
Veronica,
ball.
I'm failing.
You dropped it and then
Mental
picked it up
damage.
and then
Do any of
dropped
them-
it again.
Mental damage.
Okay,
I'm
so
rattled.
Where are we at?
Woo.
RE5?
We still have some left from RE6.
I was gonna say, oh, even for RE6, any of them, we're not counting any of Umbrella Chronicles
No,
games,
just-
right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
So 6 is
Are Hunk and Tofu in there?
Oh, yeah.
Tofu is in here.
Oh my God,
Oh, then
Hunk and
Hunk for
Tofu.
sure.
And
Yep.
Hunk.
And Hunk is also
Yeah.
in there. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So because we skipped that, that
Good
was
stuff,
2.
Ian. Yep.
Yeah.
So 6 would be Leon and Helena Harper and Chris Redfield and Piers. I don't know
Piers.
Piers' last name.
Nivens.
Nivens. Piers. And then Jake Wesker and
Yeah.
and
Sherry.
Sherry, yeah.
Jake what?
Wesker.
He has a different last name.
Oh yeah, it's
Jake, what?
Mercer. Muller.
Jake
Muller.
Muller.
Yeah.
Muller, that's right.
He abandoned the last
Yep.
name.
Okay. And then
RE7.
7.
Oh, 7 is
Well, Revelations 1
Oh,
and
you
2
play
were
as
Yeah,
a
yeah.
before
ton of
this.
different
You know, let's,
people.
let's do some revelations.
so 7 would be
Barry
Ethan.
Burton.
Okay, I'll count Ethan because I heard him out loud. Ethan's last name is Winters.
Ethan Winters. Yeah,
Uh,
Revelations is
Barry
Jill
Burton,
and,
I got 2 from Revelations 2.
Oh right, yeah.
All right.
Revelations 1 is Jill and Chris.
You play as Moira.
We got that was the
and,
first one.
And the little girl.
The little
Yeah.
girl.
yeah.
The little girl.
Yeah.
I forget their name.
Natalia.
Oh, yeah.
Boom!
Thanks for
Natalia
remembering that.
Corda. Now here's the thing.
Nice.
I got a couple more names from Revelations
1. There's like
Yeah.
the gruffy, scruffy
Yeah.
guy and the
Never
girl
played
with
one.
the hair.
The
Never
guy
played
who's
one.
not very.
There's a 0% chance
There's
I'll
a
get
woman
either
in
of
He's
there.
like
them.
kind of like, yeah, like the bigger guy.
I won't get either of them.
Gosh, I
Yeah.
forget all this.
Yeah.
All right.
I won't get
It's been
him.
like 5-6 years.
So what if I said Keith Lumley?
Keith?
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keith Lum. Yeah, wouldn't
I
have
didn't know the last name, but Keith. Yep.
And then what if I said Parker Luciani?
Parker Luciani. That's the girl.
Okay, I guess so.
I forget Parker.
Okay, so all we have left are 2 more from RE7.
Mia.
Yeah, the DLC, man.
Oh, Joe Baker.
Oh, Joe Baker not listed, but should be. That's not right.
Should be,
Yeah.
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 Do you play as Mia?
Mia Winters.
Yeah, Mia in that
Uh-huh.
part.
Last one.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
In
Last one.
7.
Who's the first
Yeah.
character you play as?
Oh God, it's the reporter
Damn it, I forget.
who
the
is
name.
actually like one of the main Resident Evil producers. It's just like his face.
Oh,
That's
nice.
Yeah.
Is he the one who sent us he was on that videotape?
Yep.
Yeah.
What's his character's name? It's probably like Joel or something.
Clancy Jarvis.
Oh,
That's
Remember
really
the
good
name.
lore.
Remember the name.
That's really good lore.
Lock it in.
Good stuff.
Jones didn't contribute too much to that game.
No,
No, Jones.
I didn't play either Revelations game, and
You're an RE
and,
super fan though.
I mean, I did comment that there were the deal. I added Joe Baker to there. I
Exactly,
commented
and
that
the
there was
other-
the
you-
DLC as
you
well,
fair. Yeah.
and I knew I was.
Code Veronica, Steve Burns.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was enjoying him not knowing Steve Burnside.
That was very fun.
Delighting in torment.
Wait, how much do you do as Steve Burnside?
You like get the double Uzis or pistols, and then you go like save Claire at some point. She's like locked in a room or something.
And then you try to kiss her while she's
He
sleeping.
gets all cocky. Yeah.
Okay, great. It's time for bets. Next week's bet. Half-Life Alyx will be releasing March 23rd, 2020. That's a Monday, because Valve is different. How many Steam reviews will it have at this point next week? Brandon Jones.
6,000.
Michael Huber.
875.
Michael Damiani.
Oh, I went way low. 100.
Okay.
I went with 1,200.
So we got the under.
Ian Hink.
1,400.
All right, let me lock those in. It should be noted that I didn't allow anyone to go to Steam and see what a regular amount of reviews are. We just had to go with our guts on this one.
I was thinking low
Jones probably
because
has.
of the index.
Yeah,
is
man.
So expensive.
Yep. And I think you don't need the index in particular to play this game.
Do you have to have the game to review it?
I think so. With Steam, I do believe they
changed
have that now. Yeah.
Kyle.
Huh.
Speaking of bets,
Yeah.
you're gonna be leaving this podcast in a little bit.
That's up to you, man.
We got a team. The Sick Owls.
Yeah.
They're competing.
Yeah.
What happens to those owls, man?
That's
I'm not saying they're
completely up to
doing
you.
well. I'm not saying
Yeah.
the future looks bright for those owls.
I do believe they probably won't make it.
We'll see. We'll have a listen to them today, and we'll see if they've improved.
Oh my god. It's out of my hands.
Okay.
If it was up to me,
All right.
the
Okay.
Sick Owls would be healthy and survive. If Jones kills them, that's on him. MLB The Show 20 was released Tuesday,
Sick.
March 17th. Huber, I went to the top 10 most recent reviews on OpenCritic, and I searched
you
for
don't
the
know this
word.
bet?
No.
This is a good bet.
What word did I search for?
Cheater.
Astros.
Okay.
Astros.
Okay.
Jones bet out of 10 reviews that Astros would appear 0 times. Ben bet 4. Brad bet 0. I bet there would be 6 Astros. Ian bet that there would be 1 Astros. Damian Huber, who do you think won this bet?
I think there was one.
You bullseyed it, as did Ian.
Dang.
There was 1 mention of the Astros and their cheating.
Bam.
Yes.
Nice.
Ian, bullseye, baby. You won that bet. That brings us to Gorgeous Gorilla 6. Sick Owls 3.
Milk it.
Okay. Let me tell everyone about patreon.com/easyallies. That'd be a website you would go to if you wanted to learn more about the Easy Allies and the types of videos we make and how to support us. For instance, if you give this podcast, this group, $5 or more per month, you get this podcast 2 days early. You get it on Fridays as opposed to Sundays. You get to hear that version without commercials, without pleasant ad reads from Jones, which to me is a drawback.
To not have them?
I want to hear it.
I want to hear those filthy, filthy ads.
I appreciate that. Kyle.
yeah. And
Well, you can always go onto YouTube and then
Yeah, you watch them,
give it a
get them
click.
later. You got the timestamp. You can jump right to it.
one thing I've learned, gamers love options.
Love options.
Anyway, any patron, $1 and up gets the ad-free version of the podcast. So worth checking those things out. Let's talk about some shout-outs.
Oh, let's. Shout out to L. Thanis, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, Caleb Togi Crawford, Will Schmuck, and Mr. One Luigi.
Shout
Out. Worth noting, 2 of these fine people will not be returning next month. We got 2 shout-out slots
Oh,
open
nice. Cool.
for the month of April on patreon.com/easyallies if you want
Nice.
to be a part.
Ian,
Hey,
live editing challenge.
I definitely was late on that cut.
Can you roll with the close-ups?
Oh, all right. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
All right, let's try it. So everyone look into your camera.
Okay.
Shout
Damiani goofed it up.
Okay, Damiani, nail it this time, buddy. What did he do wrong?
I don't know.
Okay, all right. One more then. One more.
Damn it, Tommy.
Shout
Damn it, I goofed it up. Start over.
All right, last try. Here we go. Shout
I wasn't ready.
Okay, that was it. That's it.
You got to me, though.
We're gonna rehearse it. We're gonna rehearse that.
No.
All right, one more. Last one. Shout.
Out.
Nice.
I did it.
I got
All right.
another fun thing.
Good job, Ian.
We're all
That's not easy. Those numbers aren't in a
quarantined.
row.
Yeah.
Any recommendations out there for people to watch or play? Got any recommendations, Bosman?
We just did that.
Keep your hands off Eizouken.
What is?
Sick anime, dude. Just a good anime. There's no such
That's
thing.
the name of the anime.
It's
Keep
called
your hands
Keep
up.
Your Hands
Oh,
Off
okay.
Eizouken?
Yeah.
I thought it was an
How many episodes?
anti-recommendation.
It's ending this week actually, so I think it's like 16.
Oh, beautiful.
It's about 3 high school girls. Wait, it's not that kind of anime. 3 high school girls who are making an anime together. So it's about these these kids who are like very collaborative and imaginative. They have a really good working dynamic. It has maybe the most sympathetic perspective of a producer that I've seen. It's good. You're really pulling for these girls to put their anime together.
Good sympathetic producers in Yakuza.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Yep, highly recommended. Damiani?
Sorry, I thought he was asking your recommendation.
Or if you have any.
Yeah.
You got any? Damiani?
Go with someone else. I was blank. Sorry.
Brandon Jones. I'm quarantined.
Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Sure.
Just get in there, man.
A lot of content.
Just get in and start doing it. Yeah, you will be pleased. It only gets better and better and better. Very dense, humongous, lots of characters. It's always fun too when you go back because someone's gonna pop up. You're gonna be like, oh, it's that guy, it's that actor 40 years ago. Look at that. It's always fun. Of course,
Whoopi's
I have no
in this?
examples. Yeah. Whoopi's in there.
Ian?
I mean, TNG is a great rec. I'd say HBO's been killing it since the incident. Watchmen, Outsider, and Westworld season 3, episode 1 was dope.
And
Nice.
Barry?
Barry.
I hear that's great.
Barry was great.
I watched season 1. It was very sad.
It doesn't get less sad.
Yeah. Castlevania is mine.
Oh yeah, Castlevania.
Castlevania.
Oh, I still haven't seen it.
We don't have a good Castlevania game right now. There hasn't been one in a while, but we've got the anime.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Also, Patriot on Amazon.
Uh,
And The Expanse.
Damiani, what popped into your head?
Breaking Bad. Oh, sorry. Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul.
Better
Saul,
call
sorry.
Saul.
Oh, yeah.
Prioritize
Best
it.
in the
Prioritize.
biz.
Prioritize it. You can save the anime girls for later. Prioritize Saul. Okay.
Some Rex.
Great. Ian,
Hey.
you bullseyed the bet.
Wee.
You get the right and responsibility to share your Twitter handle with the world. You get to promote any Easy Eyes video you would like to promote. You get the final word on anything you've disagreed with, want to reiterate, or just popped in your head. And you get to sign off with your trademark sign off.
Hi. You can follow me at Ian Hink on Twitter. That's with a CK. Please watch the latest Mysterious Monsters and share with your friends.
Who's on it?
Damiani's on it. Lawrence Sontag and Bruce Green, nay Funhouse, are both on it. And it's a laugh riot. It's a great episode.
Really fun one.
Really, really fun one. Please watch it. Share it with your friends. The YouTube algorithm is broken. We can't escape our own gravity. Everything is falling apart. Be afraid. No, I'm just kidding.
I saw a video from the Completionist just yesterday.
I watched
where-
that video.
Yeah, it like bummed me out so
I know.
much.
It's
Yeah.
happening to everyone. Dude, the algorithm is broken. 2020, they did something wrong. I'm getting recommended videos from so long ago, and none of our stuff escapes our own gravity. It's so bizarre. Anyway, share Mysterious Monsters.
Share it around.
Please. Final word. I don't know. The consoles, they'll both be whatever. They'll both be fine. Good night and good game.
We're gonna rehearse it. We're gonna rehearse that.
give me one more.
All right, one more. Last one.